Hello and welcome to the Razer Invitational show match. We have got an incredible set of games ahead. We've got 11 influencers from 6 different countries: the UK, Spain, Germany, France, Russia, and Poland. And while the Eurovision may have been cancelled this year, I guarantee you this will be a display of talent to rival that. Of course, on topic of talent, I am your caster, Crema3. To my left, I have the wonderful Ryan Retro Bernard, a man who could do this whole cast in one breath if he could be bothered. And to my right, I have Jack Zerfra Kelly, a man who's so Irish, rumour has it he once beat St. Patrick in hand-to-hand combat less than a couple of days ago. So, how are you both feeling about this one?
Yeah, no, really good. And we're going to kick things off to let you know about the giveaways that go on today. Of course, first off, we're partnered by Pringles. Make sure to drop ! Pringles in the chat. It'll give you a chance to win the €25 package to get your hands on some awesome flavours. And personally, you know, I'd go with the sour cream and onion. But of course, with that, there are a couple other giveaways. And Jack, if you want to take those away, you can.
Yeah, other giveaways involved are there's a Razer Viper mouse up for grabs. So if you want to be in with a chance to win that, basically every hour watched, if you type !ticket, you will be able to see exactly how long you've watched. And at the end of the day, we'll be giving one away. Make sure to have your whispers enabled on Twitch as well.
And it is going to be a incredible amount of just stuff given away. So really enter. There's actually a fairly high chance you'll win something just from the sheer quantity of things we have to give. But of course, yeah, we've got different influencers from different countries. I am gonna kind of throw it in early. I'll stick my neck out here and say that my prediction on this whole thing, representing Team GB, I reckon Verrox, my boy, is going to win the whole thing. Of course, grant a little bit of bias, nationality, that pridefulness gonna go ahead. But let's throw it to you, Ryan. Who have you got your money on?
Well, the producers have told me that there's this particular person called Rogalic, which actually translates to croissant. So I've got to back my boy, Mr. Croissant, the team Croissant. I'm backing them. I reckon they're going to take this one home, and I'm interested to see exactly what happens on the field today.
Absolutely.
I think, to be honest, if I'm going to make a prediction, Milan, 100% representing Team Spain. Just, signed for Galaxy Racer. He's actually looking for a trio at the moment. Maybe these two viewers that he's going to play with could potentially be his next trio, depending how well this goes. But yeah, should be really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So to highlight as well, you guys both picked players from countries that have 2 participants. Do you think that, for you, Regalic, or for Jack, Humalan, do you think either of these players are going to outshine their countrymen, or are you kind of rooting for the country as a collective?
I don't know. Personally, I do believe that, the country as a whole is something you should be supporting. And hopefully, chat, you can drop us your predictions as well, who you think's going to win this one. But nonetheless, I do believe that, at the end of the day, as you mentioned, you're rooting for Team GB. I'm rooting for Team Poland. So there's a lot of different content creators out there, a lot of different people that could take this one home. But I think I'm rooting for Croissant. But Team Poland will do me justice for the day.
Yeah, sadly, no Irish representatives there, so can't back my country. But Milan is a close second, very good Fortnite pro. So yeah, that's why he has my vote, and I think, to be honest, he can take it home today.
So on the topic of fun names, the only player with a Shrellick name in the kind of whole thing is the Russian player, whose name translates to Tipsy. I think that just kind of shows country values, doesn't it? really looking forward to seeing how he fares, just because if it wasn't for the UK pride, I would be going for Tipsy. So he will be my close second representing Russia. But again, we've got the format out. It's a custom lobby, and unfortunately, we've only got 40 people. So we are 60 people short, meaning that we are expecting players to be fairly geared come the kind of time of fighting, because you've got a 60-man deficit. That is a lot of loot to go around. So I truly expect that when we do see contact mode, we do see these fights come forward, I expect there'll be lots of building, there'll be lots of long-range fights. So it'll be really interesting to see how this kind of fares as a dynamic.
Yeah, of course, and as you mentioned, this is the normal lobby, the normal arena, the normal map that everyone's used to, and with that 60-player deficit, of course, that means that there's going to be a lot less fighting in the start, a lot less PvP in the beginning stages, and you're going to be looking at people with some very good weaponry and some good utility with them later on in the game, so it'll be very interesting to see how this sort of format plays out. And of course, it isn't just going to be one game tonight. I think we've got 5 games coming up ahead of us, so it'll be an interesting one to see. Nonetheless, we're going to throw it to the pre-match ads, and we shall see you all in just a second.
Thank you for watching those quick little ads there. And so while we were able to quickly talk in that little ad break there, we kind of came to a bit of a conundrum. There are 2 really distinct play styles, in my opinion, with Fortnite. There are the very aim-heavy players who will prefer these ARs or prefer these snipers taking long-range duels and just rely on their aim solely. Then there are those builders who can, the second they see someone, can just soar up to the top of the map and work with the elevation more than their aim, and they prefer this close kind of shotgun-oriented play style. Jack, I am going to put you on the spot here. Do you have a preference, and which one do you think is going to kind of come out prevalent here?
I think especially now, so new season coming out, season 5, I think box fighting, you know, it was really, really evident in the last season. You know, obviously now the pump has been removed. I think it's going to be really interesting to see, you know, if there's going to be people actually picking up the charged shotgun that was put back into the game, and indeed the TAC is the other shotgun that was reintroduced. So I think box fighting is going to be a real key factor in who's actually going to take it home today.
Yeah, absolutely. And what to you, Ryan? What are your thoughts on this one?
No, to be honest, I think Jack summed it up perfectly there. You know, the introduction to the new shotgun and everything like that. Box fighting is going to be definitely very prevalent. And I was saying earlier, just before the break, that, you know, with the 60-man deficit, there's going to be a lot more PvP in the later stages. When that circle closes in, when the storm closes on in, we're definitely going to see a lot of fighting, a lot of action, and hopefully an absolute bloodbath in the middle. So I'm excited to see how all of that plays out. And of course, as I mentioned just before, there's 5 games. So even if, you know, teams don't exactly pick up in the first stages, aren't quite used to the new season, then, you know, they're definitely going to have time to adapt in the early games, learn their opponents, and in the later games hopefully can capitalize upon that, because of course there's Razer rewards being thrown out. There's a lovely package going to the winning team, so it's not exactly like they're playing for nothing. It's definitely going to be something that teams are definitely going to be pressing for some sweet peripherals.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, we are going to throw it in game in just a moment. Again, for those of you in the chat, let us know your predictions on who you think is going to win. Don't forget the 2 giveaways that are running throughout the entirety of the day. So please, again, let us know. And in just a moment, we will head on in game. Tell you what, Jack, though, I'm going to put you on the spot once more. Is there a favorite place you'd like to drop? Is there anywhere you want to see this early contact made?
One of my favorite places to drop anyway is definitely retail. I'd be more retail orientated, but no, there's a lot of places of interest on the map, and I think now, especially, you know, with the only 40 players in the lobby, you know, like well, in and around 40, it's going to be pretty interesting. A lot of POIs are going to be available for these teams to drop, so we won't really see that many more scavenger orientated loot runs. So it should be really, really interesting. As you said, as you touched on, there's going to be plenty of loot to go around.
Yeah, absolutely. And something to highlight as well is kind of ARs and sniper rifles. They're usually this sort of late game-esque gun to find. But now that this has been now that there are so little players playing, I expect that we're going to see loads of long-range fights compared to where you usually see shotguns as like the default kind of weapon to fight with.
Yeah, of course, and I do believe that we'll definitely see that balance come out later on in the games, where, you know, you're going to see people try and just run around, grab as much loot as they can at the beginning. As you can see in Slurpy Swamp right now, there is 2 teams, so we might see some early engagement. So I might have been wrong in saying that the majority of the fighting will happen in the later stages, because, you know, there are a couple of teams that have landed quite close to each other, and as you can see in the top left-hand corner, there are 26 players in 9 teams. So this isn't exactly a scenario in which, you know, we're expecting that 40 players. There's even less people, which of course means more loot is going to be shared around, and more importantly, it's going to be a definite brawl, and materials aren't going to be something of scarce capacity. I feel like there's going to be a lot of farming going on in the early stages, so it'll be very interesting to see how this one plays out.
And yeah, as you said, like, there's going to be plenty of loot, plenty of mats to go around. I don't really think rotations will come into it that much. You know, you see in those big games, you know, with the 100 players, 99 players in these tournaments, you know, rotations really come into it. Players being caught out and punished for, you know, these rotations into the circle. I don't think it's going to really come in to play that much. I really think, you know, it's going to come down to that final circle, that very little people will die on the rotations, and, you know, we'll have a very stacked end game, hopefully.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head there. In my opinion, we might see what could just be a 5-10 minutes of just pure farming from everyone. It wouldn't surprise me if those players we saw kind of drop together early on. It wouldn't surprise me if they just don't fight. They just give each other some respect, they back away, and then really, really rely on the emphasis that's going to carry on to the late game. We do see a bit of an engagement towards Slurpy Swamp, and everything I've just said may be turned on its head. We'll have to see, though, as for the most part, it's just a bit of tickle damage either side. Nothing too extreme caught out yet. However, they are looking to fight, though. It looks like we're going to have to see Topsky hide behind this pillar and maybe take a bit of early damage as Hell is raining on from above. He's trying to get away. He's building his way backwards while his team look to cover him. Let's see if he can hold, though.
Yeah, of course, that early damage can be quite crucial in this gunfight as builds all around from either side. There's going to be armor shaved off of everyone right now as the kills continue to ring on forward. And by the looks of things, it's going to be an absolute cleanup. Tipsy and Topsky, both minimal points of health, and there you go. 2/3 of the squad down, not out just yet, but it's not looking all too likely in this early engagement that this side took is looking very pear-shaped already.
Looks like FNX is going to try and hunt down Topsky there, and that he does. Shut down, instantly eliminated, and that'll actually be our second group knocked out so far. So it was early engagements, and it looks like these teams have had some fairly clean fights.
Yeah, like we see 2 teams knocked out already, something that we did not expect. We did not expect really, you know, these heavy early game engagements. We thought, you know, maybe later on, maybe even second, third storm, we might see a little bit of fighting, not on these runs. So, you know, dropping, I suppose when you're dropping to these POIs, you always run the chance of, you know, coming up against some tough opponents, and 2 teams have already met their maker.
Absolutely, and I think for now, that may just sum up the early engagements. I don't see any other teams kind of duoed up or kind of doubled up in the same area. I think everyone they've got their respective point of the map. They own it now. The question is, will they be able to have enough gear to try and rival anyone else caught in the rotation, of course, towards that center? First zone has been thrown down. It looks like we'll have to see a bit of a rotation from Krashki and co, as they'll just make their way back through, hoping to maybe get into that zone in time and pray they don't get caught out here.
Yeah, of course. I think an interesting point to make is their positioning within the map. You know, being tucked in that top left corner, you could argue that the 9 teams, you know, there'll be a lot of loot being dished out, but this team going to try and play it as passive as possible, of course. Min-liang leading that forefront. We'll have to wait and see exactly how this team plays out. Nonetheless, though, 21 players, nothing much else going on in terms of action on the server right now. And so I reckon this is going to be a moment of lull, a moment of calm before the storm, quite literally, as we've got 2 minutes and 30 until it makes its first move towards its desired position. Nonetheless, though, it will be very interesting to see how each team plays out, and as I mentioned, that lull is definitely going to be in full effect here, as by the looks of things, no one is around each other right now, and it's going to be a time of peace and where teams can gear up for that early game, or rather late game loot in quite an early game stage.
Absolutely, and it's going to be really interesting to see just how they fare, as for now it looks like it's going to be a few kind of pot shots rang out by Lazarov here, just trying to do a bit of damage where he can, but for the most part it looks like he is just trying to scare his opponents. There's no way he's going to be able to down anyone and knock them out at all from this range, so it is just warning shots, but I think that may be kind of the majority of the damage we see this game, because there's such distance between these teams. It's really where these snipers come into shine.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of pot shots here, you know, just a lot of shoot and hope that it connects, you know, even if you don't get the confirmed kill on each of these players, you know, even if you can just take a little bit of health away from them, a little bit of shield off them, anything will do.
Absolutely, it's like you have a bit of rotation come through from the Neoxes. He'll make his way on forward. Got that rotation coming through on that boat. He may have run it aground there, but no, he's able to keep it standing just a bit longer. And of course, because there isn't many people, you can just do this very fast rotation. You can just bomb it down towards the circle, and from there, just work at getting a pick and fortifying your own position.
Yeah, of course, and now they're in the circle, they don't have as much pressure. They can go and loot up because, of course, as we mentioned time and time again, that there's a minimal amount of people within the server, so there's no real need to look out, or at least there is a need, but not as much of a need to look out, basically, for your opponents. You're basically looking at a scenario in which you've just got to be cautious of exactly where your opponents are in the later stages. It doesn't really matter, and of course, if you've just joined us, make sure to join the giveaways, ! Pringles, to get yourself in on those, as well as that every hour you watch you can jump into a giveaway for an awesome Razer mouse.
For sure, and something to highlight, we have got 3 teams right now that are very close to one another in this Salty Towers. It looks like we might have our first full engagement, and something to worry is this red team is just completely caught out of the zone right now. They are going to have a seriously tough time making their way forward, running into 2 teams, both waiting for them now.
Yeah, they're going to be in a lot of trouble there. We're going to see probably another engagement, maybe only one team coming out alive there, which would actually drop us down to 5. And, you know, it's only the first circle, like, as you touched on, you know, it's so early, and we already have so few people left. 21, I believe, still left alive. There's still 1:35 left on the clock until this second storm starts moving in. So it will be pretty interesting to see, you know, what actually happens towards this top side of the map. Who is going to come out on top? As we just see Fire Hunter here farming a few mats and making it their way towards the zone.
As a highlight as well, that is a lot of mats to have. Again, because there isn't as much engagement as you would expect from a kind of standard game, people have just had a chance to farm, and we're looking at like 2-3k mats total on most of these players, and it means that when engagements do happen, when they do start building, they're going to see a really large amount of building, and it's just going to be instant towering on either side. Any chance that kind of box fighting goes out of the window just because the difference in elevation we'll see.
Course, and as you mentioned, those mats are going to definitely play a later part in the later stages when you want to fortify in those later circles and give yourself an advantage. You can see on screen right now just how many builds each side has. You're looking at 164 builds, Fire Hunter to your right, and of course 127 on Crashkey on your left. So, as you mentioned, those builds definitely not going to be a scarce resource heading into the later stages. And of course, when you pick up those kills, you get the resources and the materials from your enemies. So it's not even like at later stages when you kill people, you're going to be running short, because everyone in the server right now is going to be absolutely stacked on everything. And I mean, you're looking at a hotbar right now, which looks very set. The shotgun, the rifle, all the pots in the world. Nades as well, so it's going to be an interesting one. As you can see on screen right now, the map will start to close, and by the looks of things, only one team in the circle right now. Lots of teams that need to rotate, and I think this is a point after this circle forms and this storm actually sets in place. This is where we're going to see a lot of fighting happen.
Yeah, like as we see the teams rotating in now, Rafa trying to just get towards the circle. We see 3 teams in and around the same area. We touched on it earlier here, as min-liang actually is just going to spot out Rafa and maybe try and get a few pot shots in the back here as he's approaching the team. Maybe getting a little bit aggressive, trying to just sneak up behind them as waiting for his team, maybe calling out for a few team shots. But here we see the build coming in here, and nades are going to be thrown in. Rafa just going to start spamming a little bit as this engagement gets into full swing, as now Rafa just trying to build up for height here with metal, trying to get an elevated position over, looking down, spots out min-liang, trying to tag him up here, will do a little bit of damage. He is just in around 100 HP, needs to just box up and try and pop this big pot, but Rafa is just going to try and put pressure on and, you know, not allow him to heal, but the pot has already been popped here, as we see now. Still raining down hell with this heavy assault rifle, the gold one in fact, just keeping min-liang busy here. He's going to take even more damage. Rafa still yet to take any damage from this engagement at all, spamming towards the build, seeing if he can find him. min-liang now in the storm is going to begin to pick, but so is Rafa, and we could see a heavy hitter going out already here.
Again, that cruel mistress of time that waits for no one. Zone coming in, and Rafa, he instantly rotates away. He realizes he's got to play with the storm. He's got to give it some respect. And unfortunately, this red team, they just completely trapped min-liang and co. They've got to hold. First player falls. min-liang going for the revive as contacting his main. Rafa, he's coming aggressive. He looks to break in from above. Switching to that shotgun, looking to rain out damage. Again, he's just unable to find that player. Crashy bouncing on around him. It's so much building on either side. Both players trying to just outmaneuver one another. But from the looks of things, it is just going to be Rafa hitting that bounce pad, catching the rotation, and leaving min-liang to his own devices. The question is, will min-liang and co be able to escape this building hell they've had?
Yeah, and of course, all the time the storm's there, it's going to continue to tick away, and now they'll take the zip line on through. Magnetized, of course, to the top of it, but there lies their foe. Their opponents, the ones that did so much damage in the beginning. Now, they're going to face, once again, by the looks of things, though, they are going to disengage, run away from each other, and have no problems whatsoever. So, as the second storm forms, we've still got 20 players in the server, 7 teams still remaining, of course. Now, with all those materials used, this is going to be another time for min-liang and co to farm up. But you can see the concentrated amount of teams in that top left-hand corner. It's going to be absolute hell heading into this third storm circle, and it'll be very interesting to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, as we see here, Zakarsak just building up here, gonna bounce her away. I believe he is splitting right now from his teammate Rafa. Say Camstar already taken down as well. Just gonna try and group up with his mate here. You know, safety in numbers and all that. Just trying to get away from any engagements, disengage, try and get maybe a better position, better height to deal with the oncoming threat of the players trying to rotate in. Now, we are just going to see, you're alright, and now as we see, they're just rotating in, NSY, GG, just going to farm mats, you know, a lot of mats were wasted there on that fight, and he's in around, you know, 1200 mats at the moment, so plenty of builds to go around.
Looks like he has some players on his tail as well. He needs to be very careful about being caught out. He'll drop on down early on. I think he realizes the danger he's in. As it looks like the low ground and work his way up from there. Having spotted Zaka ring out a few shots where he can, but it's Mustel to try and cover the distance. Pushing on forward. He'll make it to that campfire. And so it's a highlight as well. That red team, once they came, Milan and Co, once they came out of that zone, they were disgustingly low on HP. But for now, it's going to be full rotation around. And a swipe. He's feeling confident. He's ringing out a few shots where he can, at whoever he can. Taking his time and looking to potentially go for a few kills and maybe catch out a team off guard right now. They go for the teleportation to above. They take their time to start making their way down. It looks like they've spotted some players as they do kind of tease a push. Question is, do they commit to it? Rafa looks like the man who's going to be on course to defend as NSY pressures down the distance. Contact made, who's already up close and personal. 3 players trying to push it down. Only contact made. These walls are being shredded through by these shotguns. They descend onto him like a pack of hungry dogs. He's shut down. His teammates trying to trade, but none comes just yet. Rafa, he's eliminated. It's now down to his teammates to try and take that gauntlet and trade effectively.
Of course, and now with that man disadvantage, things are going to get hectic still. Lots of building going down. Both sides going to try and hold off quite nicely, but by the looks of things, it is just going to be a complete disengage. Both sides seem uninterested now. With a player lost, it definitely is going to be advantageous heading into this, like, this upcoming circle, I guess, at least. Now going to be a couple of shots rattling on through hills all around. And now you're looking at a circle that's forming in the next 50 seconds in which, you know, the fourth storm, it can be quite scary and it's going to increasingly do some damage. What I had shot him was white. He's going to dome. I was like that. Nothing to be made of it. Lovely headshot once again. Crisp aim. And, I mean, all the time that he's doing these 33 shots to the ocean, the armor rather, it is definitely going to be a huge benefit for his team as they enter towards the circle and post up in quite a terrifying time because there's still 7 teams remaining, 16 players left, and in such a small circle, things are going to become hectic.
Yeah, as you see, like, everyone's just trying to get, you know, set up, get into their boxes in and around this circle. You know, as you see, Milan here and his team are boxed up now towards the middle. The other teams now beginning to rotate in here as well. I believe it's Zakarsak is all alone out there for the moment. He is kind of isolated, so he needs to be really, really careful here. As you see, Pastitano now just gliding in at the moment. Needs to be really, really careful. Actually, he takes a real heavy shot. He's actually going to be taken out mid-air. Oh my! Must start taking him down. And what a shot that was, just eliminating him, taking him out of the server, sending him home. We'll see you in the lobby for the next game.
Tell you what, that is a very, very scary premise if you are one of these players, just to watch your teammates sniped out of midair. And we do have these teams pretty much all along the outskirts of this circle. The true point of contact, though, comes in this mess of buildings right now. Rickon fine, he's taking a lot of damage through this building. He's trying to bring out shots. He's trying to find the players in the mess of bricks right now, but he's got his team to support him from above. The question is, can he stop himself from being caught out from below? It's purple, blue, and yellow all having fights ringed out around them. Red, they're taking their time, they're easing back. They're going to look to maybe clean up this mess. As for now, Mustor and Co, they just sit back and they wait. They've got all the guns they could hope for, all the mats they could hope for. They've already got a few eliminations. For now, they just need to wait for players to come to them.
Of course, and now with that new Storm Eye forming, it is going to be 40 seconds at least till teams are completely pushed out. And this is where you're going to see the typical side of where they're going to try and build a lovely rotation into the zone, however, and now they'll be able to build up, get height on the Milan squad. By the looks of things, another engagement is about to go down. Musto with a lovely shot. Krashki already losing all of his armor, so just down to the HP as By the looks of things, the high ground successfully taken. And now this is where things are going to get interesting, of course. No teams removed. Still 6 in the server. 15 players left to fight it out. Completely muster, of course. Going to try and take a little bit of a duel. Is going to lose half of his shield, but nothing to be made of it. And you can see now, this is where things are going to get interested. Teams looking, eyeing up the prey and trying to third-party the scenario, of course. Getting themselves further and further up in that point-scoring system. Nonetheless, shots ringing on through. Muster is going to take a bit of engagement, and he's actually going to lose a lot of his health, just down to 95, but he's managed to escape. So a complete disengagement for both sides. His shots are going to continue to rattle on off, but nothing to be made of it.
Actually, in that engagement, we actually see min-liang go down. Now, I couldn't see if he was finished. Well, I believe another player, after going down in this engagement, as things begin to really heat up in these last few circles, you know, 5th circle coming in, 19 seconds as it just closes in. Everybody is kind of safe, but this box fighting going on right here, Muster gonna just take a quick big pot as we see Zephyr here on height with his team at the moment. Confine actually gonna drop Smoky and actually gonna take him out of the game as well. His teammate here, Sleepy Tim, is on his own, and hopefully he won't be caught sleeping here as they push right into his box and they actually take him down. Another team eliminated, only 10 players left for the moment.
Something to highlight is that this team of NSY, they are so good at moving together as a unit. We saw them all just pressure into that box as one. We saw their rotations earlier where they were able to snipe people out of midair. It was so strong from them, and it's so effective as well to see them just move as a unit and fight together. We've got both Zephyr and Co, Team Yellow, taking the high ground, looking to rain hell on anyone who comes their way. We do still have 4 teams left, and as shots ring out, Zephyr takes a substantial amount of damage as he leans over that ledge. He takes a bit of a peek, and he'll be damaged, and he'll definitely regret doing that again. He'll reconsider. We got Lazarov, the man with that sniper, the man who inflicted that much damage early on, as he'll continue building his way up. Those edits going to give him that little bit of visioning advantage as he'll just start teasing his way forward. He needs to be very careful from above and from the side. Zephyr and Co, they have been very strong up until this point. Looks like a rotation is coming down though, as Yellow bring the fight to their opponents. Edits go through. It looks like they're ready to drop as well and give up this high ground. Rockets being thrown down onto the buildings. More shots ringing on out. We have yet to see another elimination though. 10 players left, and in just a moment we're going to see a new zone shrink on in, and that's going to be a very harrowing prospect for a lot of these teams.
Of course, and with that minimal size, it is going to be teams forced to box fight. We were talking about that in the pre-game and how deadly it can be. So now with 50 seconds remaining, this circle is getting increasingly smaller and shots rattling on through from every front. If you're in the middle, you must be absolutely scared right now. Lovely shots rattling on through. Fatter actually dropped for nearly all of his health. He is going to mini pop back up though and get him above 100. We'll heal up once again, and that's no problems. He'll go back to re-engaging, trying to do some damage because, of course, every kill matters. You can see on the left side of your screen, Zephyr. He's going to try and ring on from above as well. So damage from every front being called, and there's elimination ringing on through. It'll be just a moment now until this storm will completely shrink, and 9 players remaining, 3 teams, so it is going to be 3 teams of 3. The battle on every front. Never say yes, taking the high ground, and now the engagement comes on through.
Zephyr going down here, Reconfine and Fat now are going to have to clutch up because Zephyr is actually been fully eliminated as Fat tries to break down the team of Height. They're actually going to pop a Rift Fish there as we hear that, ringing out some shotgun shots. Actually, he's done so much damage, takes the wall and actually takes him down. Oh my, he's getting hard pushed over here. He hits him for 64 white and he's just going to pickaxe him and take him down. 12 HP, pops 2 floppers and pops a mini as well. Got a little bit lucky there. Now just going to confirm that kill as he is still alive with his teammate Reconfine. 6 players left in the server, 3 teams, all duos I believe. Could be wrong though.
Let's see.
He's just up on the height there. Sorry, talking over you again as we see it's over. It's just gonna box up, but getting really interesting here, Kramer.
Yeah, absolutely. So interesting. I kept trying to talk over you. I do apologize for that. But here we go. We've got Fata and Zobacure. And Zobacure, he's already got 4 eliminations. He's done really well for his team. And it's down to Fata to try and work his way down rather than the opponents to work their way up. The ball really is in his court, so to say. And for the most part, it looks like with these teams so closely tied, any second now, all hell is about to break loose. It looks like it's about to. Shotguns ring out on either side of Rebecca. He's taken down instantly. Fata hardly taking any damage there. Reconvening. Tracking down that box, looking for another kill. More contact made. He takes a substantial amount of damage there. He still survives though. Edits come through. Push comes around. He's got the support of his teammate at the ready. Reconfine. Gonna help him. More edits come through. Drop comes through. Follow-up kill comes around. He's trapped in the storm. It's Reconfine. Very low on HP. Almost taken down. This is Fire Hunter on the other side. Helping to ring out Hell. He'll do so much damage on either side. Jump comes up. Death comes in from above. And just like that, Mustor and Co are going to take that first victory royale.
I mean, yeah, what a game that was at the end of it, of course. Victory Royale heading towards Muster's team, and that's going to put them in a great position in the end of Game 1. But as I mentioned in the pre-game, you know, we're looking at 5 games tonight. That was the first, a 5th of the way through. And what a display we saw there.
Absolutely fantastic. We see Farbiz and his team really taking the dub there, and box fighting really came into it towards the end there. It was absolutely fantastic to see, you know, shockwaving into boxes, getting really aggressive, which is, you know, what everyone loves to see when they watch Fortnite. Just seeing these, you know, fast plays, trying to get in people's faces, trying to put them under pressure, trying to, you know, cause them to make mistakes. And that's what really happened. Farbiz and his team just really, really getting aggressive and punishing them. As we go into this Intel's moment here, and SYGG and his team pushing Rafa and actually taking him down. Very, very good engagement to take, and taking one of the players away from the other team.
Tell you what, that was something we highlighted at the time as well. That rotation from NSY, that it just caught everyone off guard. And this was the shot here from Mustard, taking a player out of mid-air. I tell you what, that is just harrowing to see. Especially that player who, on a rotation, he was in a fairly decent position. I know he had mats, he had decent guns. It was all he could ever hope for. Again, this was that push from NSY again. And that team, they were just so good at their teamwork. Fata, he tried to help his teammate, but instantly turned around. He took so much damage early on. And, well, here we go. Again, more shotgun plays, getting up close and personal, and just that little bit of that quick edit there from Fata. Essentially what saved him there. NSY trying to pressure it in from above, but I think this was the pickaxe kill, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. And, well, again, for me, MVP of that match was NSY and Co, simply from their teamwork. But, again, Ryan, what do you think of it?
Yeah, I think Fata did a really good job in basically helping his team, guiding their way on forward. Of course, you can see at this point in time, 3 kills to his name, and to be quite honest with you, it was an absolute abomination towards the end of it, of course. Unfortunately for them, they do lose this engagement, and Victory Royale did fall in favour of the enemy side, of course. Fata, though, I think he definitely did a great job in what he did, and definitely helped out, but nonetheless, it was the Victory Royale, and in fact, all 3 players remaining on the Muster side remained alive, and I think that sets a really big precedent heading into the rest of these games. So, you know, with that Victory Royale, with that win, it puts them higher and higher up in the leaderboard, of course. Intel Moments bringing us all of the highlights in Game 1. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, it was a good display, and I'm excited to see what happens in the future here.
Yeah, I think so as well. It was really, really interesting to see. Actually, a good point to note there was Fire Hunter, one of Farba's teammates. He's not the actual influencer here. He actually picked up 4 kills. Farba's only managing 1, 5 kills altogether. And I mean, that's exactly what you want. You know, with these guys coming in, you want some help, you know, from your trios. You can't do it all alone. And I'd say Farba's is absolutely delighted with that.
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to go to a quick little break here. Do not go anywhere, folks, as we will be back with the action for Game 2 in just a moment. Hello and welcome back to the Razer Invitational Showdown. We have just seen a very, very close game, a very intense game, and more importantly, an entertaining game. We've got the standings here currently in the lead with, I believe, about 36 points or so. 89 points, actually. It is Never Say Yes on behalf of France leading in first place. The second place team is going to be that of Zetfar, also from France, 81 points. Busman second, third, of course, going to Russia, team Farbiz with 80 points. So again, only 1 point separating third and second right now. Fourth, of course, going to Milan from Spain. Jack, your prediction coming through prevalence. And fifth, then going to Seville of Germany, him only on 44 points. Of course, our predictions, Ryan, that being a Verox from the UK and Regalic from Poland, both on 0 points right now, but I'm sure they can make a comeback for us. But of course, without further ado, we do have a result from our little giveaway, and Ryan, you're our Pringles man. Do you want to take it from here?
Absolutely. Apparently I'm the real Pringles man myself. Nonetheless, we do have the winner of the Pringles giveaway. Congratulations to Helmans, the winner of the package. Of course, make sure to have your whispers on. Someone will drop you a message in just a second telling you about how to claim it. You will need to provide shipping address, and then all will be good from there. So congratulations to you, but nonetheless, there is still that Razer mouse giveaway going on. Every hour that you watch, you get a ticket in receiving a chance to win an awesome mouse. And of course, you were talking about our predictions, Peter, and that, you know, they're not very good. But Jack, I bet you're very chuffed knowing that your prediction is at least up there.
I mean, it's only the first game. We won't get too carried away just yet, lads. Now, you know, fourth place though, it's still going pretty good. As you see, actually, the leaderboard just updated there. Farbiz is actually on 100 points. His team is now in first. Never Say Yes, dropping down to second, and Zetfar in third. So the Russians leading the charge so far. The two French boys in second and third place. But yeah, it's still really all to play for here. Some really interesting Fortnite coming out there in the first game, and hopefully it's more to come.
Absolutely. It's something to highlight as well. There's only about 40 points that separate fifth and first right now. So that sort of differential can be made up in a game easily. You know, it's when the difference is about 100 to 100, that's when it's a bit out of reach. But right now, it is all to play for. Anyone can make a comeback. Anyone can go and take the lead here. So it's going to be very interesting to see who could actually pull themselves forward. I am kind of setting my silent prayers to Team UK, hoping that they don't embarrass us too hard. I know Ryan definitely doing the same to one of those Polish teams, so we can hope they don't embarrass us too badly. But on the topic of that last game we saw, again, Team GSY, they were so clean with their teamwork. Ryan, you got any more to say on that?
Yeah, no, I think that it was just, you know, very calculated in what they're doing. I obviously, we don't hear communication or anything like that, but I'd expect, you know, cool, calm, and collected would be the best way of describing it. Of course, in these scenarios where you're in such small circles, it is an opportunity where you can definitely reflect and realize that, you know, in these tight scenarios, you don't have to be shouting your call-outs. You know, I think everyone here has had some somewhat professional background in different titles, so we all know exactly what the pressure's like, especially when it mounts in these competitive scenarios ourselves. So for the players, I definitely know that a bit of advice would be to keep cool. But of course, you know, it seems to be that display was definitely shown in that game. And of course, the first game of 5, as you mentioned, Jack, early doors. So definitely all to play for heading into game 2.
I mean, yeah, we're talking about KSY there. Like, we saw even on the Intel Moments highlight, you know, he was getting really aggressive, and it worked out 2 or 3 times. You know, they ended up getting kills, I believe. I can't remember who they took down, but they isolated just one player on their own, pushed into their box and took them down. But then later on, when it started to get a bit more endgame, you know, aggression didn't pay off because one of the players went down, KSY began to push and then got pickaxed to death. So, you know, you kind of have to find the balance, you know, really, you know, do I keep getting aggressive? You know, do I, you know, hold off a little bit? But yeah, it should be really interesting to see, you know, who's actually going to come out on top in this second game, as we see the players just loading into the lobby here. 10 teams, 29 players. Any updated predictions here, Peter?
No, again, I reckon my boy Verox, Team UK, they will come back. I'm sure they will. And I wouldn't count them out just yet. Even if they're in last, I'm going to give them my full support. I reckon that they will be fine going forward. But tell you what, if I ran, I'd be worrying if I were you.
Alright, no need to rub it in here, Peter. There's no need at all, my friend. But I think there is something to highlight, though, is the fact that how close it is, as you mentioned, between 5th and 1st. So there's definitely an opportunity for Mr. Croissant, the Polish legend, excuse me, himself, to come back into this one, being dead last alongside your prediction, Peter. So don't pipe up just yet, my friend. But no, we'll definitely see in the later stages, hopefully, an opportunity for both of the, or rather 3 of the teams are yet to score alongside Crunch Royale, of course, Verox and Regalic. Hopefully, they'll have an opportunity to come back and demonstrate exactly what they're made of, because an early exit isn't exactly something you'd want, especially in an event like this.
Absolutely. I think we are going to go to a quick little break before we get in game. I have to quickly get word from production on that. But for now, again, we saw that it was the Russians who kind of came through and won that last game. Once more to you, Ryan. Who do you think is going to be able to win this one?
I can't not root for the boys that I've rooted from the start. I think at this point I do want to see Regalic to turn up. But it would be interesting to see, of course, never say yes. Only around 11 points behind first. So I really want to see some action from them to see if he can close the gap. And maybe we can have a definite answer into game 3 exactly who is in first place, and of course it'll be very interesting to see nonetheless. But by the looks of things, the battle bus will be launching in just a second here. So without further ado, welcome to game 2. This is of course your Razer Invitational Europe for the Fortnite game, nonetheless powered by Pringles, Seagate, and of course Intel.
Yeah, as you see the bus just flying over here, everyone going to be dropping out. Interesting to see, you know, where people are going to go. Of course, you know, limited players in this lobby, so we won't probably see very much early engagements. We did actually last time, which was pretty interesting. But, you know, we should see, hopefully, a bit more action.
For sure, let's see how they fare. And surprisingly, that is a lot of early drops, believe it or not, as looks like we are going to see a bit of contact potentially towards Pleasant Park. Both Pink and Blue making their way on forward. I can't really see any more congestions other than over at Sweaty Sands, where Green and White are also having their own little kind of engagement towards the end. However, we have that storm in about 40 seconds. It does give the chance for these teams to try and get a bit of early resources, a bit of early guns, and look to potentially play against one another a bit early on, looking for these potential early kills. As of course, last time we said how we expect the main engagement to come towards the very end of the game, but there were 3 teams that went out instantly in kind of not so much rotations, but in trying to have these kind of combat-oriented drops. And for now, we'll have to see if that's the same case, or if we're going to see teams give each other a bit more respect.
Awesome, we're looking at Rafa right now, one of the 2 Polish players from the server currently in Coral Castle, so no one else going to be contesting their position there, and you can see on the map right now exactly what's going on. Every team right now basically spread out by the looks of things. The concern at Pleasant Park has swiftly been removed of, but something to draw your attention to is to the middle of the map, where we see a lonesome Team Pink player by the looks of things, Muster. He's decided to go ahead on his own adventures and see if he can catch off a couple of people out in the desert. We'll have to wait and see, because engagement right here is looking likely. Never mind, Muster. Just going to bounce pad away. No problems for him. He'll retreat and sit on back, so no problems at all. And by the looks of things, it'll be a slow start to the game. Teams can definitely gear up heading into the later stages.
Yeah, as you see there, Muster, you know, making the smart play, just getting out of there. You know, there's a team pushing them down. The last thing you want to do, especially after, you know, winning the last game and being in first place, is giving up a free kill straight away. It's definitely not something that you want to do at all. So, you know, playing it smart, backing away, you know, getting closer to his teammates. He got a little bit of loot there, and, you know, just got away without fairly unscathed.
For sure. Bush comes through, and again, they just don't give each other a bit more respect. Just going to be a matter of building these materials early on for Fire Hunter. And for the most part, I think it's safe to assume that these Russian teams, they have a bit more of a passive play style, don't you think? Where they don't really opt for this early engagement, so their kills aren't really as high. Instead, they start to snowball really heavily towards the end of the game, where they just, because they've been farming for the good first 10, 20 minutes, they just farm huge and then snowball the second they have contact with other teams, where the only thing they have to worry about is really ammo.
Yeah, of course. I think something to note as well is that from the scoreboard that you read out just before, that actually it is France that have the most points overall, both teams scoring above 80. So definitely something to be interested in to see if maybe, you know, it's a conjoined effort from the French side, you know, with two teams being in their country name, I guess, that it might just be slightly different. But of course, as we saw earlier on the map, that no real team is next to each other. I think this is the closest it is going to get where there is going to be a little bit of an engagement, possibly heading on down towards Pleasant Park. Muster guiding his team, I guess, through the houses, through the estate. Going to have a look for some guns, but definitely materials is not going to be something of a problem in this area. And shots rattling on through, maybe not at the opponents, but maybe just a sign of warning, letting them know that they exist and that they're there and that they're ready for a fight.
Yeah, I know, like, as you were saying there, a few pop shots ringing off, you know, just trying to scare them away. Don't want to take early engagements, but, you know, they will if they have to. And maybe hoping just to, you know, hit a nice shot, maybe take some health away from your opponents. I mean, all damage is good damage at this stage for anyone. But as we see, have a look at the map here. Everyone's really spread out for the moment. Steamy Stacks, though, is kind of stacked, as we see. There are players over towards it there for the moment. But it should be really, really interesting. The zone now starting to move in. So we will see the players now begin to converge towards the middle of the map. And, you know, things are probably going to start to heat up sometime soon.
You said it perfectly. Things are going to start to heat up. We take a look at Rafa and Co. They are just taking their time back all the way up to the top left side of the map. And again, they've got that boat. They're going to be able to get away should they want to, when they need to. And because they've had this place all to themselves, they're just taking their dear sweet time. We're going to see a bit of contact, maybe a few shots ring on out. But yeah, it's just a bit of early contact. They don't need to worry about anything for the most part. They've been so far away from everyone else. They're really gonna have a chance to snowball. We see them just getting snipers and just making their lives easier for the most part. It was a risky drop to go this far away from the zone, and that storm is going to chase them down, but luckily they do have that method of escape in the form of that boat there. I think for a moment they almost left Karzak behind, but he'll be able to catch on up, and as they get away, the only players they're going to have to worry about is that white team, who are going to be at the ready to actually try and take them down here.
Yeah, of course, and now with the zone closing on, forward teams are going to be forced a little bit closer together, but no real major engagements probably going to happen within that. But something to note is actually we've lost a team already. I'm not sure where that came from, but I've only just realised the fact that we have now lost a team. So we're down to 9 teams, 27 players still in the server, so no doubt overall that there's going to be some sort of engagement happening in some stage, but for the most part it's looking quite dull, quite quiet in the map right now. We'll have to wait and see exactly how things go down.
But now it looks like Rafa and Co are making their way straight for an engagement as they barrel towards Team White. However, take a look, they've spotted each other. They start building. Shots about to ring on out. Early contact made. It's going to be a missed sniper shot from Zaxrak, as instead they'll just enter this storm and they'll have to find a way to outmaneuver it with players wary of their position and looking to potentially hunt them down here.
Yeah, as you said, they're going to have to try and outmaneuver each other. Don't really want to take these engagements, but it looks like this team that they have spotted have just backed away. They're just going to try and get into zone, you know, maybe farm some more mats, maybe find a bit more loot, and hopefully take a more pleasant engagement, because as we've all played Fortnite before, nobody likes fighting in the storm. It's just annoying. You keep getting ticked for damage. It's really irritating. I'd rather fight in the circle every day. But the team's now just grouping up, and there's actually going to be a little bit of contact here. Teepsy and Topsky and his team well, actually might come into contact here with Imimadeo. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Hope I'm not butchering that.
Imimadeo?
There's
There's
some bad names in here that are hard to pronounce, alright. So apologies for that if I get a few of them wrong.
Yeah, it looks like we are going to see a kind of a weird Anglicization and mass butchery of names over the course of this tournament. But something to highlight, we have 4 teams almost directly on top of each other, and it looks like contact about to be made. The jump was there. Unfortunately, it's an initial miss by min-liang. Team C going to turn around and take a substantial amount of damage as contact's made from the other side. He'll start chipping down. Armor broken. He's going to take a lot of damage to his health. He is able to get away, though. He'll sit back. He'll hide. And this is the Neox. He's taking his time with this. He'll still farm while being shot at. Brave, to say the least. min-liang tries to pressure. He'll take more damage. The other team spotted. Push continuing to come on through. The question is, who will fall first?
Grenades on through, and now this is going to be the second part of the engagement, the biggest part of the engagement as well, I would argue. Still going to be throwing those grenades on forward. Damage going to be pressured on forward. TC is going to have to rebuild, and now with these shots ringing on through, min-liang looking for something, editing on through, trying to go for that box PvP we were talking about in the pre-game, as he'll let it on through, but nothing to be made of it. Still going to just try and claim more and more away from the opposing side. Shots ringing on through, no damage being done. The first down actually going in favor of min-liang's side, but Krashki is going to take huge amounts of damage now. Is going to be building across and trying to stay safe. By the looks of things, they all remain alive, though. A swift takedown, a player removed from the server, and they have now got the man advantage. Fight disengaged, and now I can take a moment to catch my breath after that exhilarating performance.
Not for long here, as we see. Actually, they're actually going to shockwave a counter out. Oh, KPI min-liang taking down Teepsy in mid-air. A second mid-air shot that we've seen already, and we're only 2 games in, so hopefully more of them to come. Some insane shots there, and managing to get it down, as we see a very, very ambitious snipe coming out there from Mr. the Neox. min-liang still just trying to apply some heavy pressure to this team, who are trying to back away. Teepsy just trying to get away, get out of dodge when he can, and his teammate trying to follow suit, and actually just being carried now will probably be dropped and then revived by Topsky, but still just trying to back away, trying to disengage, but he's actually running close to a player, and Teepsy is actually going to be taken off his back. Biz now just tapping away here, doing a bit more damage to min-liang. As we see, everything is beginning to heat up here. Topsy going to be taken down in his box, as the game 1 winners now just going to converge on the loot, heal up, and maybe take another fight. min-liang is still close by, let's not forget.
Look, to highlight as well, Firehunter, these game 1 winners, they did nothing at last early game. Their strength came in the late game, and we're starting to see that now. We see them pushing on forward to get that initial kill. They started to snowball. They took very little damage. The main point of contact right now is going to be this white team, who's going to make their way, running away from Mustor, running into the awaiting arms of min-liang and co. We've got Darkness, the man who's going to take the initial contact. We've got Zach Srak, I think that's how you say it. Going to try and ring out a few shots where he can, just try and pressure down anyone coming his way. He'll make a lot of noise. He'll be able to build up and have some chance and some time to heal. Fortunately, no kill found for the entirety of Rafa and Co's side. They've done damage, they've taken damage, but we just haven't seen this display from them just yet.
Of course, and still with 8 teams remaining, as the next Storm Circle will form. A lot of teams now using this opportunity to try and get positioning over everything. Things going to be on through from Memendeo, as he's now looking to converge towards. What a lovely shot we heard in the background there. Someone got absolutely sniped with a bolt action. So huge damage being done in the early stages, but still no opportunity for engagement. In fact, there was a down there. Neox actually fell, and now the Storm might shrinking in a minute and 30 seconds, as you can see on screen. This is going to cause problems, especially with the low HP player. They're going to have to spend this time to heal him back up and prevent any form of engagement happening once again. Nonetheless, it's looking to be an interesting one.
Yeah, really, really interesting here. As you said, 8 teams still left to play. The third zone is going to begin to start moving fairly soon. 24 players still left alive. Plenty of time still to go here. As you see, Zach Fortnite taking a lot of damage here. Darkness just trying to splay in the box. And actually, they're going to get it down here of min-liang's team. Going to confirm that kill. And now there are 2 players left alive. I believe it is Roglik's team now, as they're trying to take a cone here and try and edit into the box. Roglik going to take a little bit of damage, getting away 62 in all, I believe, from that green AR. And they're going to begin to push and just apply pressure. They're split for the moment now. Is here Darkness just trying to take the floor, edits down, hits him, cracks him for his shield. Now might drop down above, trying to edit into his box, put the pressure, but now he's being pushed by another teammate and 10 HP. He needs to just think about maybe trying to get away, gonna shockwave out and try and recover, let his teammates do a little bit of damage. But Smallzik now is not gonna let that happen. He is just applying the pressure here, has his wall now as Darkness beginning to build out. He has no rest for the wicked at the moment here. Nades raining down, all hell is raining on top of him, and he very lucky to still be alive.
Absolutely, Darkness, he was aggressive, he pushed down these players, and he was punished for it. By some miracle, by some grace of any deity you could name, he's able to get away. He's going to continue doing damage now. He has some armor to play with, but he, by no stretch of the imagination, is in a comfortable position. These yellow and purple teams continuing to rain on shots towards each other. We've got Saxy, who actually got eliminated after he initially fell, meaning that this side of Smallzik, I think that's how you say it, is definitely in a difficult position. Ryan, your pick of Regalic and Co might end up playing to your detriment. We've got Rico fine as well towards the outskirts of this zone. He's going to see all this fighting happening. He's going to spot it. He'll register it, but he won't fight. Instead, he backs away. He looks to just sit back and allow the other teams to fight it out amongst themselves. We've got another knock as well. This time, Darkness going down. He's finally punished for his aggression. KPI will get on top of him, able to initially kill him, I believe, as he'll try to get onto the Darkness. Recon fine. He'll take some more damage, building as best he can, backing away. More damage Recon around him. He's definitely going to try and get into this box. We can try and bring some armor back to himself, but he just can't quite do it. He's eventually able to close it in around him, but he is definitely not in a comfortable position.
And we look at the amount of teams built up around the colossal Colosseum right now. You're looking at 4 or 5 different teams just in this one area. And as the zone closes in, more players are going to be pushed towards the center. Huge amounts of damage done, but no real teams being eliminated. Still 8 teams alive to play, of course, for the Victory Royale in game number 2. The Stormeye shrinking once again, and look at the positioning has benefited around half of the lobby, a little less than, in fact, as now they've got a minute left to try to make their move around. Of course, you mentioned Regalic, my pick. Not doing the greatest right now, but he's still kicking in the picture, so no doubt in my mind he can apply some pressure. But you're looking at the split screen right now. 2 different teams going to try and make their move towards the zone. And now this is an opportunity for both sides. Try and get that rotation on through. All the sides looking for, in fact, Krashki has removed Regalic as well as Smallzik. There's now another team removed from the server. 7 remain. And now, this is where things become interesting, because look at where they all are. All converged on the right-hand side of that circle. In fact, that top right-hand corner is looking scary.
Very scary indeed. Everyone really converging around the Colosseum, and it's going to be really interesting because they're going to have to try and get out of there. And the real interesting part will come into play. Will people just fight for the top of Colosseum, or will they just rotate out and try and get somewhere in the sand? Of course, you know, height is a huge advantage here, and if you are definitely boxed up on top of that Colosseum, you could definitely do a lot of damage to Stormeye, now beginning to shrink a minute before it actually reaches its intended target. As we see Seville here taking a little bit of damage, doing a little bit of damage himself, though needs to just try and box up and just maybe heal for a minute, as he is caught between a few teams and he is getting punished for it. They are spraying into his box. He has to just hold his wall, but he's taking so much damage here, down to 59 health, just trying to panic build and get back 29 HP, and he's going to get taken down. And NSY GG and his team are going to confirm that kill. Sleepy Tim and Schmocky now left in a duo in a trios game.
It was very, very aggressive from Seville, and he was punished for it. He was ruthlessly executed once he ended up falling, and unfortunately, that will leave his teammates very, very alone. We've got Min-liang and Co making their way back in through the kind of central area of the Colosseum rather than fighting for the high ground, and kind of uncharacteristic to say the least, considering how aggressive we've seen the Darkness be. However, for now, they'll make their way back into the low ground, and something to highlight is this low ground might actually play to their advantage. Everyone's so focused on this high ground, people may just be able to scrape on below. The other players with the same strat is Camstar and Co kind of hovering, waiting for players to drop down onto them, like kind of swirling piranhas. And for now, though, it is a bit of a lull in the storm. It's all quiet before the storm, to say the least. And in more ways than one, that zone is closing on in. Only a couple seconds left before players really are going to have to get a wiggle on it to try and get away. For now, though, no contact made as everyone gives each other just that little bit of respect to rest, recover, and prepare for what could potentially be this final engagement.
Of course, and with all these teams so grouped close together, it is going to be sparks flying, to say the least. Right now, you're looking at many teams grouped up in the top right-hand corner of such a small circle as well. So definitely going to be some form of engagement coming on forward. Shots are ringing on through. Builds are going to start to get destroyed. But look at the yellow team. Use their rotation very, very well. And now have gotten into a position where they're very comfortable in the middle of the zone. They're going to be building on down, trying to apply some pressure. That is, of course, never say yes. Second place overall on the leaderboards. The Frenchman looking for his way into the top 1 stages. By the looks of things, it is going to be every team looking for each other right now. And that's Zephyr that's just spotted out the rotation. Nothing to be made of it. No, min-liang going to get gunned down by Razer, as he'll be gunning on through with his blue AR, looking to try and do some damage. More shots rattling on through. min-liang really pinning this scenario. Going to use a rotation and very well justified as well. He gets out of the angle nicely, but the damage being done. Look at the dead bodies everywhere. Crashkey going to try and fight his way on out, but ultimately is going to take huge amounts of damage to both the Storm and his enemies. Still, the zone not yet to form. I think it's just formed now. And with 30 seconds remaining until the next zone, this is going to be a moment of lull compared to what we're about to see next.
Yeah, we actually just seen my pick min-liang and his team have just been eliminated. There's only 5 teams left in the server, 14 players left alive, as we are in the 6th circle. Still 3 more circles to go before the final one. As now we see Reconfine and his team are up on height, so they could just start spraying into these boxes, you know, putting teams under pressure, trying to just waste mats, and, you know, maybe just try and initiate some engagements. Because if you hear somebody being, you know, sprayed, you want to push in, you want to take them down, get those points on the board and move up on the leaderboard.
But now we'll have to see how they fare. It looks like Rocket's ready to come out from Razer, and there you go. The first one thrown out is going to make contact, breaking a few cover for Reconfine and Co. We got Sniper Rifle in hand, looking for early kills, unable to down anyone just yet. Shots ring out from either side. Once again, we just don't quite see a down for now. Lazarov and Reconfine continuing to ring out shots. Again, just trying to ring death from above. This team with a really, really advantageous position. They spot all these players below them. They see the shots ring out. They just can't find NSY and Co. Reconfine, he's searching for them. He's hunting for them. He's unable to find them just yet. Some more shots ring out as Must still take a substantial amount of damage, trying to rotate. And that's why as well, making his way on forward, taking the low ground. Reconfine looking to potentially drop down right now. Maybe start look to take out these members. Initial sniper shot misses. Echo is able to hide. More contact made. Rotation coming around, and these teams, by some miracle, we don't see any eliminations just yet. As I say that, Reconfine taking a bit of damage, backing away. Sleeping Tim, the next man to watch out for, as they are about to meet each other, about to converge in the center of this low ground. It is about to be an absolute bloodbath. The question is, who will come out on top?
Of course, and now with the zone shrinking, once again, it's going to become everyone that little bit closer. If you've got claustrophobia, you don't want to be in this scenario right now, because everyone is within centimeters of each other. One build separating from some teams to others now. As you can see on screen, NSY never say yes. The Frenchman currently in 2nd place, looking to try and take number 1 in game number 2 at least. Going to get gunned down. The builds are going to have to come on through. He's going to build to the side and not allow for those grenades to at least make contact with him. Fata up top, lovely positioning on the roof. Got the high ground on everyone right now, but he's not going to use it to his advantage. Instead, drops down a couple of floors and will now opt to try and take an engagement. Unfortunately, nothing to be made of it. Schmocky going to use a rotation, jumps to the sky, and he's going to get gunned down. Another shot mid-air as he falls, eliminated from the server. See you back in the lobby, my friend, because there's no more opportunities for him, as Zetfar will be left to pick up the pieces. Shotgun in hand, only a rifle as well. Never say yes, down to Muster. And now it's opportunities for the Muster side to try and get some points, try and climb further up that leaderboard. There's once again a little bit of silence amongst everyone in the server, but huge amounts of eliminations coming out there. Lots of damage being done, and more importantly, rotations are now minimal. Every side looking to try and make matters worse for each other as well. Shots continuing to ring on forward. Once again, there'll be every side going to try and just take some positioning in the circle, get as much as they can, because space means everything in this scenario.
And yeah, as we see, just shots going down below here from Zephyr, just trying to take away some of the mats. Everyone kind of grouped up down here on the low ground, which could come into play here. The storm is shrinking ever presently. It's just getting smaller and smaller. As you said, you don't want to have claustrophobia here, because there is very little room to breathe. As we see a knock coming out there, Reconfine dropping Zober, another knock there. Lasvar, I believe, is taken down as well. As we get into it here, Reconfine going to drop into the box, trying to take down Never Say Yes. Actually, a Riftfish is going to be popped there, so they will return to the high ground and maybe battle it out up there as the zone is getting smaller and smaller. We are into the 9th circle. Doesn't want to take too much health damage, wants to try and get down near his teammates. As he actually gets it down here, Farbiz is going to be dropped. Reconfine and his teammate Zephyr are still alive. Seeing maybe if they can out-heal this. Going to shockwave down into the box. Actually, they're going to pick up a kill. The splash is coming in here. Reconfine actually going to be dropped, as now Zephyr is the sole remaining player on that team using the splashes just to try and stay alive. Firehunter, the only remaining player from the winning team, actually last game, still alive, has a med kit to pop as well if he can get it off. Eating a flopper, just going to try and out heal the storm, and who it's going to be a battle of attrition here, and who is going to come out on top. It is going to be Never Say Yes. Firehunter going to be taken down by the storm, and the French side are going to pick up their first win of the day.
Absolutely a wonderful display to see from, well, pretty much every side in that final kind of cluster of these last teams, completely equal in all sense and regard. Eventually one was able to come out on top. It was Never Say Yes, I believe, and they were able to find their first win. And considering the strength they showed in that first game, I think it was only a matter of time before they found a win in today's matches. A really, really strong performance from all around, essentially. However, Ryan, what are your thoughts on it? Actually, what are your thoughts on these moments, actually?
Yeah, Intel moments, of course, bringing us Game 2's action right now, and you can see the early engagements coming on through. This was quite early on in the game. As you can see, 27 players remaining. This is where min-liang, an absolute cluster of players towards him, but nonetheless, his team fights on through. A quick kill for them, and of course, they were able to aggress on forward, and this is where TC was nearly down. In fact, he was going to get down from the sky. We were talking about those aerial shots. Lovely accuracy, nonetheless. min-liang getting caught out in the open. Farbiz delivering nicely. But what a game, nonetheless. I do believe that this is a scenario, and it was an absolute domination on every front. Darkness building on down, trying to push Rogalek. My pick sadly going down. It was a lovely take of the box. Edit on through. Tac shotgun through. Not too much damage being dealt, but in the end, he was going to get dealt with accordingly. Down to 10 health, but admittedly, they did win the gunfight in at the end. The duel was all theirs, and it was a great display nonetheless. A lovely headshot. In fact, we missed that on the stream, but Reconfine, a lovely shot from him and really delivering the pain. And this is where things got intense. 20 players, and look at that circle. We were talking about that while the game was going on. In fact, how many players there were just in that top right corner of the map. Several falling, and then from there on out, it was an absolute bloodbath.
Yeah, Seville here just getting sprayed down. Not a lot he can do. He's caught between two different teams. You know, not a lot he can get done there. Trying to outbuild it as quick as he can, but he's going to get taken down. And as we see here, Reconfine doing a lot of damage. min-liang's team actually fallen there in the meantime, as he had to shockwave out. Crashkey just trying to escape. But, you know, these teams, while they're rotating in, if you're on the high ground, you are going to be relentless trying to take them down. A nice snipe there, actually, from Reconfine, doing a little bit of damage, not actually confirming the kill. But what absolute madness was this final circle. I just can't get over it, how, you know, it came down to just the teams just out healing each other, not actually, you know, having a war with their weapons, just having a war with their medical supplies.
Absolutely, it did boil down to a war of attrition. And something I want to highlight as well is, for me, the MVP of that game was Darkness, actually. He was so aggressive. He set up so many kills for min-liang. And min-liang, I think he was the highest killing player in that entire game with 7. But he went out in 7th place. He was one of the first teams to get eliminated. But he still was one of the highest pointing players because of the amount of damage and the amount of setups Darkness was able to provide for him. So really, really impressive from Darkness. Bear in mind, Darkness is a viewer. He's just a random guy who came in and really showed his stuff. So I'm really, really impressed on him. That matrimony of just aggression and pure violence came ahead and really, in my opinion, helped Milan's team do so well, despite the fact they went out very early on. But with that, we just had word from production. We're going to go to a quick little break before we bring you even more action in Game 3. Welcome back to the Razer Invitational show match. We just saw an incredible game two. We're only 2 games in, and both have been exciting as all hell. We have just seen I think it was 4 or 5 teams up to the very, very ninth circle, all battling out for that first place. We were able to see, though, that Russian team still take the lead of Fabers. They're in first, but tailing behind them, just 3 points shy, is the French team of Never Say Yes. They finally got their victory royale last match. The question is, do they have what it takes to catch up and potentially overtake the Russians? In third place, do you have the other French team of Zetvar. Fourth, of course, being Milan from Spain. And fifth being Rafa, the other Polish team. Now, something to highlight as well is Verrox and Crunch Royale unfortunately aren't able to attend this show match, so I am going to change my prediction to Milan and Co. I was seriously impressed with the aggression they showed last match, especially in the form of Darkness, one of the viewers actually from Milan, so I really look forward to seeing what else they have in store for us. But without further ado, I am going to throw it to our wonderful co-caster of Ryan to give us a bit more in-depth about that game.
Yeah, of course, as you saw just before the break, the intel moments, we saw so much action in those final circles. There was a lot going down. It was quite hard to understand and read into, but nonetheless, they got the job done very, very nicely. You pointed out Darkness, who you think is the dark horse team, Milan at least, the dark horse overall, and obviously we saw in that game just how good Darkness was. The aggressors, they took the engagements and they won, so fair play to them. And of course, sadly, my prediction, Regalic, currently sitting at a measly 35 points overall, but still opportunities to come back. Of course, we're not even halfway through yet. This is going to be our third game coming up shortly, and of course that still means opportunities for the scoreboards to change. 3 points between first and second place, so it's definitely all to play for.
Yeah, as you said there, it's definitely all to play for. Still 3 games left to go. Out in front, Farbis, they played really well. Unfortunately, they did not come up with the win there. They finished second, so still a good show and good placement points. I believe they had 4 kills. Never Say Yes won that game. They only had 3 kills. So, 3 points in it, it's not an awful lot. And they've opened up a bit of a lead to the third place. I think 29 points to Zetvar, the other French team. So, there's a bit of a distance, a bit of a gap being opening up at this stage, but, still plenty to play for. They could die off spawn in the next 3 games, and we could have completely new players up the top. I wouldn't count out Roglic just yet, Ryan. You never know what could happen in this game.
Tell you what, Jack, I am seriously impressed with you. When I first started casting, the first thing that said to me was never do maths on stream. So if that was right, I'm really, really impressed with you. Otherwise, you're going to be torn into. However, no, you're absolutely right. Ryan, I reckon Regalic, he could make a bit of a comeback. He's currently sitting in last place, but tell you what, the difference between 9th and 8th is a handful of points. You can do that in one decent placement. So he is by no stretch of the imagination not out of it yet, and we've seen from the plays of almost every single team here that anyone can beat anyone. It does come down to positioning and split-second decisions. So I have to see who can potentially triumph here and or who will falter.
Of course, and now, of course, heading into Game 3, as you mentioned, it is still all to play for. You mentioned the results, the 3-point gap between first and second place, and something I do want to highlight is how good I believe Never Say Yes was in that game. It wasn't just him putting in the effort, his team definitely put in the shift, and, I mean, rightly so. You can see they got the victory that game. 3 kills as well, that put them at a nice 85 points in that game. So overall, a very good standing for them, and I think something to highlight as well is how good other teams are doing. It's definitely still all to play for in this series, and of course, as I mentioned, this is only Game 3, so definitely still opportunities for the scoreboard to change, and as Jack said, it's all up to the fact that it matters on your spawn, it matters on the loot that you get, and it matters on how many plays you come into, because points and placement is all that counts towards your score at the end of the game, which is definitely the ranking system, what it's based upon. So if you dive spawn on the next 3 times and you get nothing, and you're in the top 3, you could be looking at a bottom position depending on how the other teams too. So it's definitely a performance that's up for grabs. Anyone can still win this tournament right now.
I think 100% you hit the nail on the head there. But also in that second game, you know, in the first game it was a bit hectic. You know, we didn't think we were going to see that many engagements early on, but we ended up seeing a few. And actually in that second game, not really. We saw some people that maybe, you know, got pressured off spawn going, okay, maybe, you know, let's not land there this time. Let's go somewhere else. Let's get some more loot, you know, actually have a better chance of surviving until the late game. But what I want to touch on as well is that the viewers that are actually playing with these influencers and pros been absolutely fantastic. You know, like as I said, they can't do it on their own. They really need their help. You know, in server, you know, hitting the shots, and they've actually really impressed me with some of the plays that they've been making. As you said, Kramer, you know, Darkness setting up Milan for a few kills, you know, with his aggression, and I believe he actually got 4 of those kills, if I'm not mistaken, maybe even more. So yeah, I'm really impressed with that, and hopefully more of the same to come.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, our background, of course, it isn't in Fortnite, it's in CS. And when we see CS players play with fans, it is usually a matter of can the CS player kill the other one, and whoever kills the other one first wins the round. But from what we've seen here, these Fortnite players, even the viewers, are pretty bloody good. But you've seen time and time again the kind of influencer die very early on, and it's down to the viewers, and they still soldier on. They still give a really solid performance. And again, if this is the quality that we see from the viewers, then these are the names that we could potentially see on a big stage on a later date.
Yeah, and I think something to highlight as well is, you know, as you mentioned, how good individually these players are. Because if the pro player or the influencer does die, it's up to the other two, and I think that highlights how much of a team-based game the scoring system is. Because of course, it doesn't just matter about the influencer; it matters about the kills and your placement. So it might not be that your teammate is the most capable mechanically, but if they can survive in some situations and build their way out of sticky situations, then you're going to get yourself more points in exactly what we've seen all in all around the server. Rogalek, you know, only getting 1 kill, placed 8, 35 points. You know, it wasn't just him that was in the server helping them out, you know, as my pick. I want them to win, but it definitely is a team effort, these players going and giving all their best. Nonetheless, game 3 should be coming up very shortly, in fact, and I'm excited to see what comes to the table and see how teams react. Will we see that early engagement we saw in game 1, or will it be similar in game 2, where we saw basically nothing for the first 5-10 minutes and then all hell broke loose in the last circle?
And yeah, game 3 should be coming up sometime shortly, but I just want to touch on again, you guys watching at home, the viewers, you know, if you do !ticket on Twitch, you will actually see that if you've been watching for more than an hour, you will be getting 1 ticket per hour. And at the end of the day, we will be giving away a Razer Viper mouse. So make sure to continue watching, and hopefully you will be in with a chance of winning that. And also, if you guys are pretty good at Fortnite and think you can maybe outbuild and out-aim these guys, join up. Down below, there's links below, I believe, for the Razer Invitational Europe. This, of course, is just a show match, but the later dates, I believe the 10th is the first tournament. There'll be 6 tournaments coming up in the upcoming weeks. Make sure to check them out and sign up, and maybe we could be casting you guys in weeks to come.
Absolutely, and we do have many weeks ahead. However, we are going to quickly go to these highlights brought to you by Intel. First one, of course, going to be Sleepy Tim, who has just been building as much as possible. This was, of course, when he was pressured down by NSY. A really strong performance, and that team worked so well together. And we have Fatter again dropping down these players. I think he also gets pressured down by NSY and goes switches to that shotgun up close and personal, able to finish off the first. Pressured down by NSY, who looks to ring death down from above, and this is it, that pickaxe kill, allowing him to get that 2k. Fatter really rising and performing for his team there, and of course that shotgun execution, that'll be his 3rd kill of the game, and it looks like he might come on for a 4th as well, as he'll quickly be able to edit that, swing in wide with that shotgun and look for this 4th kill.
Yeah, of course, and from here on out you see ninth circle, 18 seconds until it closes, and the fact that 5 people are still alive, 3 teams. Fatter going to try and build his way out, actually getting a very decent amount of hills off before finally being taken down to the shotgun of Fire Hunter, one of the viewers actually within this. So very interesting to say the least, and of course with that victory royale alongside Muster meant that they were able to get those points, and you're looking right now at some lovely accuracy. Fatter demonstrating in game 1, just absolutely beaning players taking Sleepy Tim basically down. His teammate there to finish the job, and from there on out, this was unbelievable. I feel like this was the first game. Actually, no, it was the second, in fact. And let's reconfine here. Currently sitting in the zone. Got jumped on, but managed to make the move on Farbiz, of course, the Russian, currently leading, so his placement definitely wasn't too bad in the end. And then here you go, the heal-off in the end. Fire Hunter sadly falling, and that left the victory royale falling in the hands of Never Say Yes. Into moments, of course. And I mean, I can't wait to see what happens in Game 3.
Yeah, really excited to see what is going to happen as we are waiting to go into the game. But, you know, Kramer, you coming out there with a new prediction, actually joining me on Milan. What impressed you there that made you, of course, Ferox couldn't join us. So what actually made you, you know, pick Milan?
It wasn't actually Milan himself, it was his viewers. Darkness, he was just so aggressive. He was up in the face, ready to just fight up close and personal with anyone who would have considered going near him. Social distancing straight out the window for this man. He does not care. He is right up close and personal, and I love it. It gives us an entertaining chance to watch. It gives Darkness a chance to show his skill, and of course Milan, an aggressive player himself, it gives him a chance to really work with a man who can kind of act in unison with him. So that is my pick, and I think Milan comes in as a bit of a dark horse. We do have at the moment Farbiz and Never Say Yes, the kind of two top dogs, but it would not surprise me if we do see this Spanish player potentially come up and look to overtake them.
Cool, so now we've jumped into the game, not quite on the battle bus, yes, but you can see in the bottom right that positioning is taken, a fairly central one at that, but we will be waiting for the countdown to begin. A time for the players to reflect, to talk about their strategy heading into Game 3. And Jack, I want to pass you a question. What do you think is going to be your strategy? If you were on the server right now, what would you think would be the best way to go about it? Would you be looking for those early engagements, or would you rather be playing for the placement?
I think definitely early engagement is not the way forward. You really just want to play placement, play safe, especially if you are towards, you know, the top maybe 4 teams at the moment. That's what you definitely want to be doing. You want to be playing for placement, just getting the guaranteed points in there. You know, placement, of course, is where you will get the most points, you know, not being very much kill orientated because of, you know, how little people are in the lobby. So you really want to just, you know, maybe play it safe, you know, take your time, get placement, you know, get the points secured. Maybe if you're towards the lower end, like your Roglic, who I believe is in last, and Tipsy as well, you might see a bit more aggressive plays coming out for them, because they kind of need kills to, you know, start climbing up the ladder every so often, or well, you know, in this game. There's still only 3 games left to go, so although we are just about halfway there, you know, there's still plenty of time to go and plenty of points to play for.
Absolutely, and of course, just about 25 seconds or so on that, about 20 before we get underway. And now, for me, what I want to see, but more than anything else, is aggression. It's entertaining to watch, it's entertaining to cast. The question is it entertaining to play? But I guarantee if you're on Team Milan, it is. Now, they're the only team that we've really seen go for this sort of aggression. We saw in that last game, they placed 7th, but they got 7 kills, which meant that they actually got more points than the people who placed 3rd. So it's really interesting to see how this aggressive playstyle works out for them. What I want to see now is other teams try and mirror that, to try and use that kill-heavy approach to give themselves a bit of a chance to really start clawing at these rankings, especially at these high-ranking teams who really excel in the late game.
Course, and you can see on the map right now exactly where teams are dropping. By the looks of things, the middle of the pathing is going to be where the majority of the teams drop. Something of interest, though, is that I'm not sure if you can see, but there are 2 green players that have just decided to go out and have a swim. So that might be an interesting one. But nonetheless, we'll see what happens with them. Maybe it's just a connection problem or something like that. I don't believe that they'll be flying out into the border, but we're going to jump into Reconfine, who is alongside Fata. And, of course, Zetfar, who overall, the French squad are sitting in a pleasant placing on the leaderboard. Not exactly near the bottom. Overall, 3rd place. But, of course, still all to play for. Nonetheless, they're going to be jumping into the action very, very shortly. And as you can see right now, you know, you're looking at teams that won't exactly decide to play for the early picks. There are going to be couple of engagements here and there, but as we mentioned, the early engagements we don't think personally are a way to go, and instead we might just be looking at a place in which we see a lot more later game action, a lot more PvP when the zone closes in, but Misty Meadows is looking quite good. Fatter's team sitting close and personal. They are ready to fight if anyone comes near them.
As we just see our drone going around, you know, there's not going to be much really to talk about in these early game fights, as we've touched on before. But to make sure that doesn't happen, make sure you guys go ahead and sign up for future events. As I touched on earlier, the 10th is the first tournament. It begins, I believe it is all weekend, and actually, I believe we're going to see a team eliminated straight away, Topsky and Tipsy, and that is exactly not what you want to see. Tipsy's team being taken out of it, and that's going to be a 9th place finish for them. They finished in 8th in that last game, so that is absolutely disastrous to start things off here.
Absolutely, and that is actually harrowing. I mean, fair play to the team that eliminated them. I guess it's some early kills, it's some early elimination, early points, but regardless, that is not a scenario you want to be in. And, well, I guess for every other team, that does make it easier. And tell you what, while we do have this little lull before anything really kicks off, I want to highlight, actually, how Fortnite translates to other games. As I recently saw in Valorant, with that being released, we see that the best aimers in Valorant, not so much at a professional level, but more at a pub level, they're actually mainly Fortnite players, because that change in elevation for kind of standard FPSs, you aim at head heights, you stay at head heights. But for Fortnite, you see constant adjustments. You see players having to take players out of midair. They have to readjust for, of course, difference in elevation when players are building. And it means that you end up with these players who are actually gods at aiming. And the only time that they really falter is when it comes to tactical positioning. So I'm really interested to see how these players would fare in straight aim duels without the building.
Yeah, of course. It's definitely a different aspect to take. I think a lot of battle royales in recent times don't exactly have the building aspect that Fortnite does, and of course, being a huge game, popular everywhere in the world, you know, definitely you're going to see some players exceed expectations. And right now, you're looking at a team of some caliber, of course. Grandma or Peter picking this team as their favourites, readjusting from the late Verox, who sadly couldn't make the event, of course. Him highlighting the fact of darkness, and something I do want to point out as well is that how good individually these players can be. You know, you're looking at a side in which it is min-liang, the influencer of the side, and to be quite honest with you, darkness definitely helping alongside that, guiding them up there. Of course, not exactly in the pole position right now, but in 4th place, so definitely still all to play for. And I think that's something to comment on as well, is the fact that in these games, you're looking at teams in which, you know, one good game with a lot of kills and a high placement can move you from last to first, so it definitely still is all to play for.
Yeah, definitely still all to play for, and I believe Krashky's been done a little bit unfairly. We're speaking about Milan, we're speaking about Darkness. It's very unfair to leave him out of it as well. He's had some influential moments himself. He's actually picked up a few kills. It was more in the first game, though, that he was more influential. As we see Tommy is in PC here, just zooming around the map here. Bit of fishing going on as well in this lull in the game. Actually, another team being taken out, I believe, as we are down to 21 players, 7 teams remaining. The Storm now beginning to move in, so people will begin their rotations. See exactly what's going to happen.
Sorry about that, Jack. Again, I just can't help it. I keep interrupting you.
All good.
Once again, it looks like we are going to see a bit of contact made early on. Rap having to dodge a bit of a rocket there, just spamming it down, trying to get a bit of loot early on, but there are players all around him, and if he's not careful, he could take a bit of early damage right now, as for now, that zone is going to force them on forward as they'll back away. It seems, of course, all rotating in towards this zone. Of course, the zone being a fairly southwestern one, so southeastern one, my apologies, as they do kind of stack up towards this area, and it means that those who took that early drop are definitely going to be in an advantageous position here. Question is, who is it who's going to come out with a bit of an advantage, at least positionally?
Of course, and now with the zone forming, here we can see my pick, Rogalek, just there, moving on forward into the zone. Nonetheless, we're going to be looking and a team right now that do have opportunities presenting themselves nicely. You can see Zetfar, Reconfine, and of course, overall, the Frenchman currently racing, as I mentioned, in third. So definitely a game in which they want to win, and there we go. Damage being done already. We can see two teams engaging right now. Fata looking from below, not caring the fact that there are players behind him, and now he'll get punished for it. Here comes Darkness, raining in the shots, and it's going to be the build-up. Fata going to try to take the high ground. Krashki going to take huge amounts of damage. That's over with his shield gone. He's down to around 65 points of health as well now, as Darkness rolls on through. Going to try and do some damage. Rick and Fine from behind, though, just raining in terror as he will get the wall, but Krashki to dive to the side. Shots rattling on through, and in fact, Zetfar eliminated. It's looking like Fata's side now reduced to just 2. Rick and Fine going to do some damage. Nice placement. Going to try and build his way out of a scenario. Moving the wall. Getting out of quite a tricky situation, but going to edit his way on through. Decides against it, and now an opportunity for everyone to just try and swarm him on down. Krashki goes down, and by the looks of things, it's all down to min-liang and Darkness. In fact, he's going to get a res, so that could have been an opportunity. He's now back alive. The shots continue to rain. Terror grenades ringing on through, and now this might just be the beginning of the end for Team min-liang.
Yeah, Fata just unrelenting pressure here, trying to just force them into position. I'm actually going to swap away now here as your pick, Roglic, is driving away in the car. Just going for a nice little Sunday drive there, or Saturday drive even. As Reconfine now doing a little bit of damage to Darkness, jumping around with this shotgun. Just trying to, you know, keep applying pressure as the shockwave coming out here. min-liang might be taken out of the sky here. A little bit more damage being done there from Reconfine. Another shockwave being used, and min-liang being hit out of the sky. He's so low, around 40 HP, I believe, as he just manages to disengage from that one. But I believe he is now split from his teammate, with Fata taking a little bit of damage in his box. Darkness trying to break in, trying to take his wall. He's only 33 HP, so a little bit of trouble maybe for him. Gonna pop minis as Reconfine now just gonna come into his box and drop him a little bit of healing as well. Just gonna hold the floor above him to make sure that his teammate can get the heals off and have a more favorable fight.
Tell you what, Darkness, every time there's aggression, we see him there at the forefront. Reconfine looking to pressure him down. Can he punish him? Yes, he can. Darkness shut down. min-liang nowhere to be seen. Darkness, see you in the next game, buddy. Styles of min-liang up close, and Bursa also shut down and eliminated. Reconfine taking out the team with predominantly the most heavy fragging potential in the entire game. It was a long-winded fight. It was a costly fight as Zetfar does fall. But at the end of the day, Fata and Reconfine, they come out on top.
Of course, and we were talking about the impact that the viewers have. That's definitely going to be needed for that team. Zetfar does kick the bucket nonetheless. Still 13 players remaining. Half the lobby, in fact, and the circle still only in its second formation. So it's definitely a scenario in which we're seeing a very aggressive early game. Suzaku going to take a huge amount of shots. Regalic is going to be basically down and out of this one as he's dropped to the floor. And it's a free lot of kills for the opposition nonetheless. They will be swiftly removed from the server. Regalic not doing all too much in terms of damage. 4 teams remaining as half the server stands. 11 players remaining. Just under half the players in the server as well. Now, you're looking at a side in which is looking quite dominant now. Rafa, Say Camstar, and Zaxarak looking quite good for them now.
Yeah, we see they have 3 kills already, but what's interesting to note is the second zone hasn't even come in yet, and there are 12 players left in the lobby, 4 teams. So that is really interesting. We were talking about, you know, these teams maybe trying to play for placement early on, but also the teams that actually needed to pick up the kills that were lower in the leaderboards, that, you know, they need to get aggressive, they need to get these kills and, you know, make a play really. And it's actually shown here as we see, you know, just such a deficit in players early on in this one. As we now look at Farbiz and his team, 3 kills already for them. Of course, they are leading at the moment, and with another top 4 finish, there's a lot of placement points still to be left, or still on the line, should I say, as Rafa begins to zoom now towards the circle.
What's interesting as well is a lot of these teams that have been eliminated are actually the frag heavy teams. So now that they've been pushed out of the way and kind of tucked under the carpet, let's see how these more kind of lesser teams that we haven't really seen in game 1 and game 2 really shine here. Let's see what they can bring in store for us, and let's see how they can fare against these other teams who have potentially already shown a very strong performance so far. We see Farbers and Firehunter already with 3 kills. They've just, as a standard, been doing very, very well so far. Will they be able to keep their lead, or are we going to see them take a bit of early damage? We'll have to see for now, as they do just keep taking down these AI, just giving themselves a chance to get a bit of extra gear and work their way on forward. There's no one really able to fight or challenge them in Hunter's Haven, so they are going to have free reign to farm however they please.
Of course, and now with a moment of silence brings the new circle. 1 minute and 30 until the circle 3 forms, and I think something to highlight as well in that regard is the fact that, you know, as you mentioned, there's not many teams remaining that are the higher tier, the higher end teams, sorry, not tier. So it's definitely going to be interesting, a different mechanic now. Those heavy engaged teams, we might just be looking at a heal off in the final circle again, or maybe the aggression will still to be found. Nonetheless, never say yes. He's going to be pushing on forward alongside his teammates. Lazarov leading the charge towards Hunter's Haven, so we might just get a bit of engagement here. Farbiz and Firehunter running away, not really going to show all too much in that respect, so maybe not an engagement as of right now, but still opportunities for either side to try and deliver some damage. As Jack, you always mention, all damage is good damage, so this is a scenario in which if they can take a shield off or do some damage in that regard, then maybe we'll be looking at engagements in which you're looking at Never Say Yes bumping up their kill count once again.
Made. Oh, sorry, Jack.
Oh, sorry, it's all good. As we see here, just, you know, building up the engagement, actually coming in there just as you finished talking, Ryan. You know, talking about that, would they take the shots? It looked like they were just going to try and line up their shots there. Maybe just, you know, all 3 of them take shots at one person, try and get the instant down, you know, which would then, you know, initiate a push from them. But nothing to come out from them just yet.
Well, I wasn't saying that was absolutely harrowing how they ran out a few shots. It didn't even do any damage. It just gave their position away. So, bit of a heartbreaking mismanage from them. However, we are going to see Rafa and Co making their way towards the top of this haven and maybe look to take contact with this Russian team that have been doing so well so far. They ring out a few shots. They look for it. I don't quite think they've spotted these players, though. So for now, the element of surprise is going to play to their detriment. Shots rings out from Zrak as he tries to do a bit of early damage. I don't find anyone just yet. For now, though, as these teams start getting closer and closer, we start teasing ourselves towards what could be an absolute bloodbath.
Of course, and now the circle is starting to form and push the teams closer and closer together. We'll be seeing some more action, but still, with only 4 teams remaining, there's no real need for them to get any sort of aggression sorted. The camp coming on through Rapper, Camstar, and Zarak are all sitting in a singular bush, so this could be huge punishment being played. We know they've got a sniper rifle among them, so this could actually be an opportunity in which these guys just sort of go, you know what, we can take this engagement. If we get a down, then, you know, we can definitely aggress upon that. But look at this. They've left loot out in the open, and they're all with shotguns. So it's the bait and switch tactic I've quickly realised. And this could be absolutely detrimental. A poor soul might just run along and grab these materials and get an absolute shot to the face by 3 tactical shotguns in the bush right next to it.
And I mean, I absolutely love this play coming out here, but I think Reconfine, Fata, and Zephyr will be a bit stupid now if they come up, because, of course, they can see the kill feed. They can see that nobody has been taken down in quite some time. And actually, just as I say it there, one player has been dropped. They're actually just going to re-pick up the loot, realizing that they're not going to push up to that bush. So we will see no sneak attacks just yet. But we might see a few shots being lined up here. Just common which one they're going to go for, waiting for somebody to stand still. And now they take shots, not able to hit anything just yet. But they're spamming towards the box. It's actually Rafa taking a load of damage in this engagement so far. Zarxa as well. He has been taken down of all his shield. Fata has to just build a bit of cover for him as he begins to build up on top of the high ground, try and take height away from this team. As now Fata spamming with attack, he's trying to get into his box, taking the shield away from his enemy. As now gets up above them. Slows down for a little bit. Say Camstar taking a little bit of damage as his box is being spammed out now as well. And it'll be interesting to see what engagement that Fata and his teammates are going to take. A mini is going to be popped. Reconfine now spamming towards this brick and now has spotted the box that Zarxa and Rafa are in. Taking a wall as we see a right hand peek there from Rafa. He actually hits Reconfine, but not for an awful lot, as now the spam comes in. A lot of damage to the buildings, but no actual damage to the players just yet.
Time goes down, push comes through, and now the grenades start raining down. Rafa needs to be careful. That's a lot of damage being done on either side. Fata will continue trying to spam down Kazarat. He knows he's there. He's got his teammates to continue pressuring him down. Rafa taking so much damage, down to 35 HP. He's able to wall off on time, tries to get away. He's caught out by the shotgun. He'll fall. He's still alive. Well, I say alive. He's downed, and then just like that, eliminated. He's got 2 more players left. Rotation comes in from Farb, landing from above. It's going to be Zero to take a substantial amount of damage. He tries to come in himself. Farb is now looking to add more kills to the already, well, dominating Russian side. They continue to run up. They try to bring Death down from above. Firehunter going to lead this charge. Mustor going to try and pressure down this member as well as he'll provide cover. So he needs to be very, very careful. Trapped out and alone right now. Players making their way towards him, but instead we find ourselves in a bit of a lull. Firehunter will take some damage in rotation. He'll be forced to heal up. 5 kills already for the Russian side. Let's see what else they can bring for us.
Of course, and quite an interesting factor in that as well is that the players actually, that isn't the influencer, of course, Farbers being the influencer in that team, actually doing more for the team than the actual influencer themselves. Of course, don't take that in the way that I'm disrespecting the influencer, but it just goes to show what we were talking about in the fact that, you know, it's the people that have joined them are actually doing a decent job as well. So it definitely is a team effort. Lazarov using an impulse grenade, trying to get across and towards into cover, but quite close to the enemies right now. There's now players being eyed up in every box, and looking at the zone, this might just be the beginning of the end, as it will continue to close on forward. Everyone stuck in the bottom side of the map, shots rattling on through. That's Fata that has fallen, and now there's an opportunity for every side to abuse what they've got. Zetfart, of course, the man himself, going to try and put in some damage, but primarily Rakenfine at 3 kills right now, 73 builds remaining. So this is going to be a tricky situation. I'm interested to see, though, how the dynamic of this game progresses, because I feel like a lot of materials, as of right now, are being used in this scenario and not kept for the later stages.
Yeah, as we see here, Farb is the #1 team at the moment here. They're up on high ground, which is exactly where you want to be. You do not want to be low ground in these engagements. You just want to be up top, raining down bullets on your opponents, just wasting mats, you know, trying to get some pop shots off, trying to, you know, take some shield away, of course. There will be very little shield and medkits to be, you know, picked up along the way, and they will very rarely have time, as we see spam coming down onto, I believe it's Zakarat and his team, and Firehunter actually going to take a bouncer and just try and get in and get, you know, push this team down. As Firehunter now begins to build back up maybe and have a look below him to see what he can find out. Shots raining out, but nobody going down just yet. Firehunter going to try and add to his 5 kills already, 6 kills for his team all in all. Having a look through the builds, and actually out in the storm, Zakarat is going to be knocked, and say Camstar now is very low, and he's going to be taking a lot of damage in there. I believe he's around 40 HP, taking so much damage. Firehunter just has to box up, though, and try and be careful. But say Camstar now around 20 HP. Firehunter is going to begin to push him now. Say Camstar beginning to heal up a little bit. A flopper going to be out there by Firehunter, and he's actually just going to begin to rotate in, try and build and get away from this engagement at the moment as we move over to Sober and Lazarov. NSY never say yes has been taken down already, so he has left his 2 viewers alone and see what they can do. And this one, Zephyr now spamming into their box, trying to take them down, trying to do a little bit of damage, but nothing coming out just yet.
Looking for some early kills, and damage has been done surprisingly. It's going to be Reconfined. Zephyr still alive. We see Farber's down going to join his teammate in rotation, looking to bring down Death from above. He's got the assistance of Mustor. A Firehunter right now, 6 kills to his name. More shots raining on down. They're able to eliminate yet one more. Zephyr needs to watch out. Lazarov as well, very low HP. No shields left to his name. He's spotted, he's spammed, he's found. He'll fall. More damage continues to be done on, and right now, this team is just raining Death down from above. This Russian side really doing so well, and the highlight has to be Firehunter. He's spotted Zobiko. He'll do more damage. He'll eliminate him as well as 7th kill alone. The 8th kill for the side. Right now, 2 teams left, 5 players remaining. Zetfar, the man to watch out for. Continuation of this spam from Farbers. He knows where Zetfar is. He knows the general location. And also continue ringing down death from above. There's only so many mats this side can have. And right now, the cards are all in the Russians' hands.
Of course, and now it's a 3 versus 2. This is everything to play for as the high ground side. 3 players remaining on their team. Farbiz, the man to lead the charge as he continues the spam on forward. But the build actually coming on through this might be an opportunity until I say that Farbiz quickly disposing of half of the team. It's a 1 versus 3. Muster, Farbiz, and Fire Hunter all against one man, and he might not even be able to pick up one. Rick and Fine not going to find a thing, and Muster picks up the victory royale for his side, and that is a huge point game. 8 kills on Fire Hunter, most certainly the carry in that regard, and he has done absolute wonders for his team here.
Oh my,
wow.
11 kills there from that team and winning the game. That is going to be absolutely insane from Farbiz and his team. They are going to absolutely shoot into the lead after that. And the shots there in that last engagement, the last player alive, just being the flicks from that tac shotgun were absolutely insane. Very hard to do. And they came out on top.
Yeah, we saw that Russian side. It was, how do you lose that situation? They had the high ground, they had the ammo, they had Fire Hunter, who I think counts as 3 players at this point, and he just destroyed everyone. We're going to look at these moments, these intel moments for now, and look at this heal coming up from Fata and Reconfine. They did really well to survive this long. This is, of course, Darkness pressuring them down. The player who was really, really strong in game 2 just didn't work out this time. 2 players at the ready, able to shut him down. The land unable to get there in time, and of course the aggression came to backstab that side. We saw this, of course, little ambush laid by Rafa. Unfortunately, didn't quite work out as well. Zetfar and Co were able to pressure them down and force them away. Contact made, follow-up push came through when it's Rafa now caught out in this box. Desperately trying to stay alive. Unfortunately, he is pressured down. This time to Zetfar, who's able to finish the job. And well, with that, it has definitely been some very, very nice highlights. Ryan, you want to continue these?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the beginning of the end. Lazarov just getting absolutely beamed by the rifles, and then Zoba, he's just there sitting duck for Fire Hunter. That made it his 7th, and well, there was simply no time remaining. Farbiz delivering most of the damage. It was Fire Hunter to bring the final blow, and with that, Muster got caught in a box, but the shotgun was no match to Muster as they were able to pick up a swift victory royale. So many points to their team right now. Of course, the intel moments displaying the exceptional performance that Fire Hunter and I would argue his team bring into the table there, and him specifically, definitely, no doubt in my mind, the MVP of that game, because he brought so much to the table, so many kills. His rotations were good, and I mean, it worked out perfectly. They got the victory. He got 8 kills on his own, and that highlights a lot.
All right, I think we're going to send it over to a quick break here, so join us back in a few moments.
Hello and welcome back to the fourth and what we've just found out final game of today. Right now it's all to play for. We saw a dominant performance from the Russian side of Farbiz just now. Let's see if any team can come back. We see that Never Say Yes still in second place. He slipped a bit further down into second based on that incredible performance from Farbiz Bat and co earlier. Let's see who can catch up. Of course, third place followed up by Zepfar, with fourth, of course, being Rafa, the Polish player. Fifth, in kind of the more combat-oriented role, being min-liang from Spain. Let's see how either team fares, and let's see if we're going to see any early kills, which is something that really separated that last game from the others. So now, it's like contact's ready to break out.
Yeah, of course, and while you were talking, actually, Peter, there was a kill. Suzaku was dropped immediately. Krashki was the man to pick up the frag, and, well, at least 23 players remaining. As you mentioned earlier, sadly, there will be no fifth game. It has been cancelled due to we having some technical problems, and additionally to that, we are behind schedule slightly. So, unfortunately, there will be no fifth game. So this is the fourth and final one. Contact made. Smelzik looking for a quick tag up. Tag shotgun, huge damage done, but immediately taken down. Rogalik removed as well. And that is my prediction gone. He is definitely now in dead last because he was dead last heading into this game. And with that, he's swiftly been removed. The Croissant is no more. And we move on to the top 8 teams.
Yeah, the top 8 teams now left in the server. Milan and his team picking up a few kills early on. Still quite a distance away from the first team, Farbiz and his crew, who are on a whopping 301 points, 60 points clear of second place. Never Say Yes. So still, you know, an awful long way for Never Say Yes to go. I believe it is only Never Say Yes and the Zetfar may be able to catch them, but it's going to be very, very hard. And I believe Farbiz will have to go down nearly almost instantaneously. His team to be eliminated straight away if anyone is going to have a chance at actually taking this one. As you see now, Krashki gonna take the slurp truck there. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Milan could have used some of the oh no, the slurp truck is actually over here, excuse me, as they wait and they all get to full health. And we are gonna probably get into this one. We actually seen a lot of people land towards places of interest here. You know, kind of grouping up, of course, towards Tilted there, or Salty Towers it is called now. One team fallen already, but a lot of the teams just towards the north side of the map. Only one team down there at Misty Meadows. The green team there on your screen at the moment. So it should be pretty interesting, and people could be caught out by their rotations here in this one.
Absolutely, and something to highlight as well, with Darkness, Krashki, and Millen all getting full shields and guns, it's very scary for any team they get to face, because they're very early to have a fairly decent setup. All they really need now is mats, and then they can be as aggressive as ever, something they are really, really strong at doing. So let's see who they can find, and from the looks of things, they are really on the hunt right now, kind of kickstarting this rotation and to catch out as many players as possible. For now, though, no contact made really around the map. It is just a matter of players getting some materials, getting some guns. There is going to be a bit of an engagement towards Grey Cliffs here, but let's see how they fare. No, don't Never Say Yes is going to be the man who leads the charge. He does have Disa and some other players to watch out for. Let's see if they spot one another, or it's just going to be a narrow escape for either side.
Of course, and while this engagement is about to go down, I'd like to remind you that this is your last chance to claim your tickets to win the Razer mouse. All you have to do is type !ticket in game. If you've watched for long enough, for the hour that you need to watch, you'll be given a ticket, and then from there on out, your ticket will correspond to the giveaway. The person with the lucky ticket will obviously receive a mouse. Make sure to keep your whispers on in the meantime, just in case you get messaged by, of course, one of the admins of this lovely community event, the Razer Invitational, of course, and hopefully you'll get your mouse sent over to you with some swiftness. Nonetheless, swiftness isn't the word I'd be using for the fourth and final map, at least as of right now. Two teams have dropped in the early stages, but no contact being made anywhere else in that regard at all, because, I mean, we were talking about the map. Maybe there's going to be engagements at Craggy Cliffs, but other than that, you're looking at a map where no engagement is going to happen for at least another 2 to 3 minutes, because everyone's positioning is well away from everyone else's, so there's going to be no problems with that regard. And maybe in the later stages we'll have to see a build off, a heal off, or something of that regard again.
Yeah, as we've seen earlier, you know, in that last game, I believe it was only 12 players remaining just before the second circle closed in. So might be a bit of a slower game than that one. You know, it was a bit mental altogether with what went on. You know, teams falling really early, but this being the last game of the day, people will need to actually get aggressive if they're gonna actually get a decent place and win some of those cool Razer prizes. As we see, NSY never say yes, taking a lot of damage here, getting really aggressive. Gonna have to box up and drop a few chug splashes just to try and heal up there, as he is being tagged down by DSAT here up high. But he's getting built on top of here. Has to just box up, maybe just wait for some help from his teammates. As you see, NSY taking a lot of damage. He's actually going to go down here early on in this one, and his kill could be confirmed now as a huge shotgun shot and actually hits him down. Painter DSAT will get the knock, actually take him down. We're going to see a spray, a little bit of BM there. We absolutely love to see that. Now has him in a box here, throwing up emotes. Will eventually take him down, as I believe it is Zober. He will eventually fall, and now begins to rain down on top of, I believe it is Teepsy.
Teepsy, of course, needs to be careful. He is eventually going to be spammed down. It's NSY to have the job finished. Lazarov, the last man left standing. He'll try to back away. He's got players from the high ground and low ground pressuring him down, and for the most part, it looks like he is just going to back away and look to spend this kind of chance to maybe heal up, but no, that's a lovely shot. Sniped down and executed. That's another team to be eliminated. And from there, let's see how Chopsky and Teepsy are able to fare with the added loot and some bit of bonus materials to work with.
Yeah, I think something I wanted to highlight as well, as I'm not sure if you saw in DC's inventory, as well as Topsky's inventory, in fact, is the amount of potions and healing that they have with them. Rotations are good as well. They've got 4 impulses between just 2 players, you can see on the split screen, but 6 mini pots, 3 large pots. There's no doubt in my mind that this team is ready for any engagement, so we might see some aggression come out from these players, and that, of course, will mean a lot, because this really just impacts majorly on the scoreboard. They can get aggressive and get a couple of kills in their name. You might be looking at a scenario in which we're seeing a large impact of kills come in, and of course your score goes up and your placement will absolutely rocket up as well. So we could really be looking at a side in which, you know, this could be a victory royale for them, just based off of the guns and utility that they have. Their rotations aren't bad either. On the flip side, you're looking at Milan in the middle of the map, who has just found himself a lovely legendary P90, the submachine gun in his grasp now. Firehunter caught in the storm, taking huge amounts of damage, but he has got a fish to help aid the damage taken. And there you go, pops it there. Going to continue to build on forward. In the meantime, though, might have just spotted someone out, which is why he's building so erratically. And there we go, he spots out the player of Reconfine, and the engagement is about to go down.
Yeah, Reconfine now on the low ground here, having a look up towards Firehunter and his team. You know, the leaders, as they actually get really aggressive, get into his box. That P90 being sprayed down, and Reconfine is actually going to fall. KPI Milan, it actually is, that will get the kill, but he's going to get dropped as well. I believe he was taken down by Zephyr, and Zephyr actually going to confirm that kill as well, helping out his teammate, avenging him, if you will. And Milan getting punished for getting too overly aggressive. Did manage to find 1 kill, but ultimately it cost him his life.
That was a really, really good trade from Zetfire there, just to make sure that his opponents don't spiral out of control just yet. He's able to hold firm, and putting it down to a 2v2 means that anyone who also looks to push has to stagnate for a little bit. For now, Crashkey will bring out a few shots where he can, doing a bit of damage either way. He's got Farbiz and Firehunter there to watch out for. These Russians mean business, and they are players to watch out for. They stack up together, they get ready for a push, and if I were this last man of Crashkey, I would be legging it right now. Instead, he's going aggressive. Will break that initial box. He'll swing wide. He's caught out and finished. It's a full execution. All 3 members of the Russian side tickled, to say the least. They do take a bit of damage here and there, but it's negligible. They'll be able to heal up, and from there, let's see where else they look to descend. Actually, there might be a player above, actually, of Darkness. He's able to give them a run for their money. We'll have to see. But for now, Looks like he'll be able to swing wide. It's damage done either way, and actually these Russians might not have too much health or regen, and by the looks of it, they realize that, they back away, they use that blast just to get a bit of distance between the two of them, and from here, let's see what else they have in store for us.
Bill's picking up the crystal as well, will allow him to continue on running. Loot picked up along the way, and that is going to be huge because these are going to do AoE healing, and that means health is going to be plentiful on all three players. That was a very lucky pickup, but it makes it work. HP immensely increased, and now Darkness, the sole survivor of that fight, will be forced to back away and not really show all too much in that regard. So as of right now, very good job for the Muster, Firehunter and Farbiz combo. And we'll have to wait and see how this team progresses. Nonetheless, another team that's in it to win it, Fata, Rickenfine and Zetfar, of course, currently looking very, very good. And of course, being very high up in that leaderboard. Currently placed third, so it's all to play for. Since second place, of course, has been eliminated. Unfortunately, it was the side of Never Say Yes removed in the early stages. So, unfortunately, I think at this point it is safe to say they will not be getting first place. But it's all to play for now. So, with this zone closing in, the second one at that, this is going to be a time for teams to reflect and think, what do they want to do? Because, you know, with this zone closing in Colossal Coliseum once again, we might just see that group combat once again. Looking at the map, however, there are a lot of teams that are spaced out, so it might just be a scenario in which we're going to just see people box up for the foreseeable future in this new zone.
The Darkness here rotating around Colossal Coliseum here. His two teammates, KPI Milan and Krashki, both actually taken down in earlier engagements, so he is just going to maybe just try and play it out, try and play for placement here. Might actually get closer, and maybe if he has his teammates' cards, could reboot them, which could be absolutely huge here. I don't believe we've actually seen a reboot in the first 3 games, so this will be very interesting, especially if he has both cards available to him. Mini's gonna be dropped here, and it's actually 4 minis, so Milan and Krashki will both be coming back. I think actually no, Milan won't be, it's just Krashki, as now he is just building and trying to get away. They realize that there has been a player rebooted here, so they will be getting pushed very, very quickly. I believe Zarxa actually got a kill there in the meantime while I was talking as well. 6 teams left as Darkness and Krashki now try and get something done, try and move out of the danger zone and get into the Coliseum. He's actually going to take a huge shot there. Needs to pop 2 minis to get a little bit of shield back as we move on to our leaders here. Farbiz now following Firehunter here with Mustor as well, just getting closer in the Coliseum here, just building in, just walling themselves in, seeing maybe what they can find, if they can find any more opening kills. Of course, placement is their friend at this stage. They're at the top, they don't really need to do anything, they just need to play to win.
Absolutely, and we've seen that since that initial engagement they took earlier in the game. They've been able to get some more shields, they've been able to get their health back, and now they're looking to fight again. They've rested, they've recuperated, and now let's see how they fight. Making their way on forward, we've got Zetfar trying to just chip some players down towards the center of the square, or the circle, my apologies, as Topskin, that lot, they do just hide in their own little box. They realize that they're actually in a fairly decent position looking at the zone as well, so they just have to wait and see how the players at Coliseum play. This is where all the contact's going to be made, and on the topic of contact, Darkness, he's starting to hammer through these fortifications. He looks like he's ready for a fight. Does keep walling him in. He'll continue pushing on forward. Can he spot any of these players just yet? As spot the initial point of contact, he'll glitching out a little bit there, but he desperately looks for a kill for now. Zetfar to push forward from above, though, starting to hammer on his roof. Can they spot out these members? We'll have to see, as for now, it looks like it is about to erupt here in the Coliseum.
Yeah, of course, shots ringing on forward. Lots of teams going to try and do some chip damage. Meanwhile, Darkness sitting comfortably underneath some builds. He knows that he can stay just alive at this stage and maybe get himself in on the business. As you can see, as we switch things back over, it is going to be Topsky there as well. These are the players in yellow that we're going to try and hold out from the middle area outside of the Coliseum. They were going to get gunned down in the earlier stages, but back in business. They have got a cart at their disposal if they want to take it on forward. as engagements coming across right now. Ping on forward, P90 shots rattling on through. Krashki, he's going to fall, but these grenades, they might do so much damage in that regard. Zetfar going to keep him alive, though, executes him afterwards, and now the aggression comes on forward. Say goodbye and sent you back to the lobby for the final time, because Zetfar not done just yet.
Yeah, we just see myself and Kramer's pick Milan's team eliminated for the final time today. A little bit disappointing, but sure, look, we can't be right 100% of the time, Peter. But as we see here now, just Reconfine and his team, Zetfar, who I believe are in 3rd place. They are just chilling here at the bottom of Coliseum. They don't really need to do anything just yet. They just need to relax. You know, they don't have to rotate. The storm isn't coming in just yet. Still 10 seconds left for that. So maybe just getting a more advantageous position here as they begin to build up. We might see an engagement between... Actually, we are. Firehunter is going to get taken down there. Reconfine will drop him, as now this is Thunderbirds our go. They're going to try and get into these boxes if they can. Nades raining on in, and Mustor's going to fall as well, and now it's going to be left all on Farbiz, who is still alive, has Firehunter now to safety for the moment, actually has left his teammate there alone. Farbiz now just trying to get away if he can. Firehunter is going to be taken down here. The loot is going to be picked up there by Zetfar. Another elimination coming out there as we just have a look at the map. A bit of madness going on there. Farbiz just trying to escape that green team who are putting constant pressure on him, and it'll be very interesting to see if he can get away.
But now let's see how they fare. It looks like for the most part it's just going to be nades being rung out by Rafa and co, trying to make this rotation difficult as possible for the players of yellow, making their way forward. Looks like emotes coming out from all of them, just taking their time and enjoying it while they still can. For now, though, here's going to be Rafa and Camster to continue just making space for themselves. DeepSea already in a decent position, doesn't have to worry. He'll just continue building. He'll look to just reinforce his position. And by some miracle as well, I think that Farbiz, he's still alive right now. He's managed to elude the 3 players hunting him down. And for the looks of it, he might be able to get out the zone as well. So it's some miracle if he does survive for this whole duration. For now, though, it's going to be Rafa to continue doing damage wherever possible. DeepSea, he'll continue to do the same. For a moment, just a bit of a lull over the map.
Of course, and now you're looking at the final stages of this game. Below 12 players remaining, sadly. Already huge amounts of eliminations happening on every front right now. So it is just up to these remaining players to make their move. Reconfine, look at his inventory. He's got rotations, he's got the weaponry, and he's got an absolute shed load of mini pots to help him and his team on the road down, but he's going to need to use them because he's been absolutely domed. 150 health gone already, left to pot up and help his teammates out here as we head into the final 3 teams. 9 players remaining as guns absolutely rattling shots on through, everything being thrown at every side right now, and Zetfar and co are definitely at a huge disadvantage right now because of their positioning. Shots ringing on forward. Reconfine looking for a quick kill. He's gonna have to build and have a look for the quick shots. Camster gonna ring in on forward as well, and now Havoc is raining in on every single front. People editing, people building, but more importantly, the catastrophic amount of damage being done to the build. You can see on the right, say Camstar, his angle that he has right now is unreal. Reconfine finding 1. That's his first kill of the game. As continuing on forward, the theme of this is bloodshed because everyone's dropping right now. Only 1 player fallen, but the health on everyone is absolutely scary. Reconfine gonna juggle the items back on 3. He's gonna have to use a shockwave grenade maybe to escape, and he'll opt to take it in the end. So with that, another Storm Eye will be coming on through, and huge amounts of damage being done. 7 players remaining.
Yeah, 7 players remaining, 3 teams now left. They try and battle it out for these placement points, and indeed for the victory here as Reconfine going to peek, and he's actually going to be downed instantly. Camstar hitting some insane shots. Reconfine just survives for the moment, won't be instantly killed. Maybe if somebody can get over and res him, but I believe they're going to push on top of him, and they are going to take him down. A great kill coming out there as we swap over now to Fata, who is just going to take a flopper. Take his minis as well. 3 kills already for him. Say Camstar now on 2. Just going to build up his 2 teammates still remaining for the moment. As now we have Zakerzak, who is having a look. 1 kill for him. Actually going to miss the sniper. Will tag him with 33 shield taken off that player now. 6 players remaining as we now get into it. Zacharek just building across now, trying to find something, spamming towards the Bills as they have the height and they are in pole position to take this game. Actually going to be knocked off the height there. They will need to build back up and edit back up and regain this high ground. Of course, it is all connected now. It'll be very hard to knock down. Deathfire though, he's going to post up and he's going to start spamming shots with that legendary Scar. Not going to hit anything just yet. Maybe a little bit of damage, but not too much. Nothing to write home about anyway, as he is just going to now begin to block himself off and build up. Now he's being pushed hard, has to shockwave out, should I say, and he's being shot out of his build here. He's going to hit the ground too hard and he's going to be taken out of the game. Zacharek now going to get down and confirm that kill as one more player is eliminated, and I believe it is Fata now left all alone as we have 3 players against 1. Fata just trying to outbuild here. This is going to be a very tough task for him, and I don't know if he is going to be able to do it. The shockwave is going to go up on top of him as they begin to spray into his builds. It's going to be very, very hard for him to deal with. Bouncer up and try and take him down off the high ground. He's doing a very good job of surviving though for the moment here. Now Rafa is the closest player to him. He's just above this build here. Rafa now having a look, seeing what he can build up. Only 12 builds left though, so he needs to be, you know, careful about what he puts down in front of him. He needs to maybe drop off and get some more mats off his teammates, or maybe off some corpses below. As now the spam is coming in here, trying to connect something. Zacharek looking for him through all these builds. It's very, very hard to do, but now he's been spotted out and they're trying to take him down. Not a lot getting done though just yet. Rafa now up on the high ground, has taken it away from him as the storm begins to close in, and it is gonna get very, very hard now for him to, you know, hold on to this one, as the pink team right now are going to be looking for him. Rafa still sitting, or Fata should I say, still sitting still. We see an emo here from Rafa as they have a look. Fata is not moving for the moment. Gonna try and isolate maybe a 1v1 here and take one player out of the game. Of course, it's gonna be very, very hard to do, especially with all the players grouped up, and I believe they are, or they do know about his whereabouts for the moment. We see he's actually going to take a little bit of damage there. He's going to shockwave up. Only 3 HP though with the shotgun. He's going to be taken down out of the build, and he's going to be taken out of the game. Zacharek going to drop him there, and it's going to be a victory royale for Rafa.
That was seriously impressive by Rafa to stay alive for that long. He was surrounded, shot at from all sides, and just scraping the bottom of the barrel to try and survive there. I am so impressed that he was able to survive for that long. However, inevitably, he does fall. That is going to be a victory royale to Rafa and Combe. Seriously impressive performance from them, and they kind of show that you don't need loads of kills to win. For them, there was only about 3 or 4 kills total, but it did not matter. They were able to come out on top, and they were able to win the final game of the day. Ryan, you're muted.
We go over here to the Intel moments here. We're going to see NSY. We couldn't go the whole day without a small mistake.
There we go.
It's
looking so good.
It was looking really, really good, but oh well, we won't hold us to that one. As you see, NSY here, he got taken down really early. He got taken out of the game. Never say yes, you know, he was in pole position to do very well in this tournament, you know, coming into the last game. And unfortunately, you know, we didn't get to do the 5th game because of some, you know, problems with the spectator. You know, people have other commitments, which is fair enough. As NSY actually, he went down here, I believe. I don't believe the res got off. He actually does get up, but I believe he gets taken down almost instantaneously and taken out of the game, shockwaved away and finished off. But as we now go and have a look at more Intel moments, you know, Ryan, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, no, unfortunately I was muted there, so I look like a right muppet, but I mean, it was well played all round. Camstar picking up an easy kill there. These builds definitely helping them out. Taking that high ground in the later stages and just raining terror on through nonetheless. You can see 7 players remaining, 3 teams, and look at the size of that circle. You're looking at the 6th circle formation, and, you know, 7 players in that isn't exactly the most, considering the count of players that we had in the server, but all in all, you know, you're looking at a third of the lobby that was still sat in that circle. So it's a decent amount of players to come against. Zetfar, unfortunately, did fall too hard, and from there on out, it was looking so easy. It was Fata all alone against 3, and well, we all know the ending to this one. He got chased, hunted, and slaughtered. Victory Royale fell into the hands of Zakazak, excuse me. And of course, now being the end of the day, we can announce the winner of the Razer Viper giveaway. And I'm proud to announce that Armadillo did win that giveaway. Congratulations to you, my friend. You should get a whisper, or you should whisper someone, hopefully in chat. Someone will guide you to that now, and we can help you get that mouse delivered. Congratulations to everybody.
Well, I tell you what, I was looking at that name in production, Armadillo, and I had a good, 5 minutes trying to figure out how to pronounce that. So well played, Ryan, to be able to pronounce that first time round. However, you did have your mic muted, which means that any production issues for the whole day are now all your fault. How it works, I'm sorry, man. So thanks for ruining that fifth map as well, because absolutely your fault. But of course, we've got the Invitational. Yeah, there are more than one tournament. We've got our first one. This was a show match. It was give you it was a wet your palate, so to say. First one, of course, being on the 10th of December. You've seen the quality of the players here. You've seen us talk about them. If you think we're wrong, and if you think you're better than these players, then go ahead and sign up. It is all to play for. And if you reckon you can elevate your team to victory, then go ahead and sign up and give these other teams a run for their money.
Yeah, pretty impressive there, as we round off the day here. And I'm just having a quick look over at the leaderboard. It was indeed FarvizBat9 and his team that came out on top. I believe 348 points in the end they had. And even though I believe they went out, fourth place in the last game, it wasn't too good, only one kill there. Really, where they shone was that third game. Coming first, they had 2 first places overall, but that third game especially, 11 kills, which is absolutely insane. Firehunter being quite influential in that one, as we touched upon earlier. But congratulations to them, and they will be receiving some cool Razer gear.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you can see on the right of me, just over there, you can see the tournament schedule as Peter touched on earlier. If you think you have what it takes, then go to razerinvitational.com. You can sign up there and get yourself in on these events, and you might see yourself on a stream alongside us in the near future. €6,600 prize pool. Every tournament that you see on screen right now, obviously partnered with Intel, Seagate, and Pringles nonetheless. So if you think you have what it takes, feel free to sign up. And of course, if you don't have what it takes to actually play, feel free to join the streams every single time we go live, because I guarantee you more giveaways along the way nonetheless. But of course, it has come to the end of an absolutely amazing day.
Absolutely, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been Kremeth. I've been joined by the wonderful Zephra, or Jack Kelly, and of course, Retro Ryan Bernard. Thank you everyone for watching, and more importantly, thank you to our influencers who came in to play in this tournament and give us some quality content to cast. For now, though, that's goodbye from us, and we'll see you all in the next one.
Cause you're human.